Okay, everybody, this is the semifinal. This is the best of five. This is what it comes down to. HGC 2017. 8 teams will play in the league in Europe. 6 are qualified. Dignitas and Fnatic, they made it through into the league through BlizzCon. First qualifier, Misfits and To Be's Determined qualified. Second qualifier, we had Jabronis, sorry, not Jabronis, but Damascus Boys and Be Genius qualify, and now we are going to find out today 2 additional teams that will make it into the league. The Russian Circus and the Jabronis, they find themselves in the semi-final. It's a best-of-5 series. Our first map is Dragonshire, and the winner of this best-of-5 will play next year in HGC 2017. I'm Khaldor, with me is Tetcher, and we're going to bring you the coverage here as we have the picks already coming in. And interestingly enough, a ban on Misha, as the Russian Circus already showcased several times that they are pretty decent with that hero on this map in particular.
Target bans, always satisfying to see, and Hydra's going to be very happy with that, having... Obviously, he would have liked to play it, but the fact he forced a very unconventional ban from the Jabronis is going to be cool for them. So far, other than that, conventional picks from both teams, Brightwing ETC for the Jabronis, and they still have one more pick, whereas Russian Circus, Tychus to try and shred through whatever tanks are picked, and of course he's still one of the most sustainable damage dealers in the game at the moment, and the Malfurion for the heals.
Just to give you also a few more backgrounds about the teams here, we had a player switch happening as Russian Circus after the second qualifier. They lost Mopsio and he's now playing for the Jabronis. And that was actually not the Russian Circus like kicking him or anything, like he left. And that of course left also the Russian Circus in a bit of a weird situation because they only had a day where they could find a new player and practice with a new player to play in the third qualifier. There's a lot of team shifting going on as teams and players are realizing, hey, we only have one chance left. Do we need to make an adjustment here? Is it better to join another team? Teams are kicking players, offering players from other teams a spot there, and everybody is just trying to see what would be the strongest team that has the best chances to make it into the league. So that's something to know here, especially of course as we're heading into the game, and you are going to see Mopsy on the other side. If you watched the last qualifiers, you are probably going to be a little bit confused by that, so I think that helps out here. Varian is also allowed, just to emphasize on that again. This is the first qualifier where Varian can be played. We've seen a couple of plays with him. We've seen bans on him. He's not supported in the draft tool here, so there's a blank spot. If that is going to be used as a ban or a pick, then you know it's going to be Varian. For now, we're heading into the second bans. Tetcher has been talking a little bit about the globals. A hero that we have seen a lot is the Haka. So far not picked up yet, but the Russian Circus is already starting to ban out top laners against the Jabronis here.
Yep, banning out that Thrall to start off with quite quickly. So they're going to be able to pick up their own solo laner as their next pick, they are first pick after the bans. So Jabronis, they probably don't want to ban out a top laner, seeing as unless there's one they really don't want to play against. And I literally just had a broadcasting game from Hydra saying first ban Rexar feels bad, man. And Jabronis are going to ban out the 10. They really didn't want to play against that. So there's still plenty of options for them. That's just one they really didn't want to play against.
I mean, 2 of the top laners that we have to mention here, the Haka and the Auric. We've seen both of them on Dragonshire a lot. And especially the Haka was actually banned out a fair amount of time, so he could be picked up here. But the Russian Circus, for now at least, they neglect him. They're just simply saying, okay, we don't really care too much. We want to have the Fawcett first of all that can set up the gank potentially at the top lane, gives us the global presence as well, and we have Mirrodin as our main tank. So the Jabronis find themselves in a situation where they can take their pick from the potential solo laners at the top. There have been a huge priority on bans against these solo laners, with Thrall, Chen, and Rexar all being banned out here. So the likely choices for them would be either Leoric or them going into the Hakan. Considering to actually what we've seen in previous games, I wouldn't be surprised if again a Leoric is being dropped here. But yeah, this is just setting the pace for the entire series, of course.
They do have 2 other options in the form of Alarak and even the Zul if they wanted to. Starting off though with some range damage, bringing out that Valor. And now they have to make a pick now. The fact is, what Russian Circus have done here is actually kind of clever. It may seem like they missed the solo laner, but the fact is some of these solo laners work better against others than it would in terms of this situation. So now that Jabronis have picked the Leoric here, Russian Circus, they know not to pick a tanky top lane, so it's very unlikely that we'll see them pick the Dahaka here, because that's going to give Leoric a bit more of an advantage. So we'll probably see them run something more along the lines of the Alarak or the Zul, because now they put themselves in a position where they get the preferable pick.
Yeah, the Leoric doesn't really surprise considering the previous preferences of the Jabronis, but as you already said, now we have the Russian Circus with the opportunity to try to counterplay that a bit. And as you already pointed out earlier, we have a few more solo laners in, on offer than what I mentioned earlier. The Alarak, of course, would be another great choice for them here. But this is basically Hydra's heroes, or it should be Hydra's hero that is being picked right now. Normally with the setup that they're
Whoa!
Whoa!
I am happy!
All right, I did not see that coming. So we have
Tannis
being picked. Okay, fair enough. Tannis is being picked all of a sudden. I expect him to, this should be Hydra's hero. Usually the setup that they're playing right now is that they have Power of Dreams on the main tank and Hydra picks the second or the assassin, the melee assassin. And I totally could have seen him going again for the Alarak, but it is Artanis. Ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off the semi-final here with a bit of a bang. Dragonshy is our first map. Let's jump in and find out if Artanis can carry the Russian Circus to victory if the Jabronis are taking the lead at the semi-final. The game starts off, ladies and gentlemen. It's map number 1, and I have a disappointing announcement to make for all Protoss fans out there. It was actually not good old Artanis that has been locked down here, but apparently there was a problem with the draft tool. The Haka was the choice that they made. The draft tool showed Artanis as it was the last pick. There was no problem. Keep in mind, all of these teams here are very friendly with each other. The pick didn't influence the draft in the slightest since there were no counter picks based on it. So they just simply announced, listen guys, there was a problem. We wanted to pick the Haka. Nobody made any kind of complaints here, so we're heading into this series with the Haka instead of the Artanis that was shown in draft. To the left side, we have the Jabronis. They are playing with Mopsy on the ETC, Dickazoy on Vala, Maka on Liming, Linked on Brightwing, and Kronos on Leoric. Whereas at the right side of the map in red, we have the Russian Circus with a Hydra on the Haka, Neon on Tychus, so Ice Cream playing Falstad, Power of Dream on Muradin, and Sevka is playing Malfurion. With a bit of a body block action in the middle of the map. And Tetcher, what do you think about our level 1 talents here?
So starting off with the level 1 talents, we are seeing the reanimation on that Leoric, giving himself some sustain. He's going to have to head up to the top lane a little bit. Actually, no. It's Vala heading up to the top lane to harass Hydra. Leoric is going to join the rotation. He does have that skeletal swing for some good AoE here, and that's going to give him 2 slates to stack globes on and help him burst down Muradin here with that percentage damage. That's going to be first blood going over to the Jabronis.
Muradin is down, and the rotation, at least for now, won by the team in blue. Good job on the side of the Jabronis. They're doing well here. We have on level 1, as already mentioned before, the reanimation, so a lot of globe stacking is going to be the case. That helps when you win that lane. Falstad up at the top lane is trying to get a kill off against Vala. Hydra is currently just trying to bait a little bit, but yeah, so Ice Cream jumping the gun a little bit too fast, but they will still get that shrine at the top lane at least.
Yeah, we're just going to prevent any kind of Dragon Knights happening at least this early. So, we're going to be starting off with some of the other talents. Reanimation already stacking very quickly along with Prog Rock. So this is why I quite like this rotation. The ETC and the Leo are rotating together almost every time. They're both just stacking globes so quickly that they're both going to be fairly sustained very fast in this game. As long as they don't get caught here, Power of Dream moving forward onto Mopsio. The tank battles, both there's been some team stuff happening between these two guys. Leon pulling back, takes a single arcane missile to the face, but able to survive.
The front line on the side of the Jabronis has to be very careful later on, especially Neon on Tychus is of course going to give them a bit of trouble, but we also have Falstad with the stacking process on the Seasoned Marksman that has the opportunity to this time go into Giant Killer. So Ice Cream didn't really use the talent in the game that we saw on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but he still has an opportunity here to put additional pressure onto the high hit point heroes. But for now, it's of course all about the experience for now. And level 4 talents are going to be crucial here. And it's already interesting to see one who collects taken on level 4 as he has the solo lane. The Haka wants to get the minion stacks, but they set up the gank in the mid lane against Li Ming. Not getting the kill though, but Mopsio is too far out and he falls.
Yeah, Mopsio dropping that stun onto Hydra, preventing the drag onto Marcus, saving his ally, but getting himself killed in the process. The tank for the assassin here. We don't know if that is worth it yet. We'll see. But now Kronos gonna lose bot to Power of Dream, at least temporarily, due to Sevka being there and him knowing that he can't really take that fight. Top lane, it's still Vala versus Dahaken, not going for the standard solo lane setup, and Vala just using her range to her advantage.
Yeah, Kronos still looking to see what he can do here in the middle of the map where we have both of the shrines activated by the red team. The Russian Circus is doing fairly well with the pressure on the objective, and it gives them a bit of time to just go for the siege camp instead. Again, the damage by the Ice Cream up here in the mid lane, pressuring Leoric in particular. Kronos moving back for that. Vala with an attempt to steal the shrine away, but Hydra is immediately on point, making sure that they gain it back. So this is a lot of pressure on the Jabronis already. They need to be careful that there's no Dragonite being picked up.
Yeah, need to keep an eye on that as best as they can. Linked attempting to cap back, barely dodging out that Stormbolt from Muradin, who continues to put pressure on. Gets sprayed by Kronos there, but Paradream still tanking through this with the help of Sevka and his own very good self-healing that he gets from his second wind, his draw from resistance.
Yeah, it's Ice Cream pressuring Mopsio. There's the channel. This is going to be a Dragonite. Dragon Knight for the Russian Circus. Vala attempted to go to the top lane and interrupted, get a channel on the shrine itself, but that did not happen in time. Now the level 7 talents are ready, and we are seeing a play in the mid lane for the towers. Kronos is being welcomed here by Sir Ice Cream, who puts a lot of pressure onto Leoric. Dream wants to punt him away. That doesn't work, but there's full hero committed to the defense, which opens the other lanes up, of course.
Yeah, and they begin to, Russian Circus begin to take advantage of that and push that in very aggressively. Oh, ETC! ETC got punted behind the wall there, and Dahaka moving in to try and hunt him down. Power of Dream with the punt. Here comes Sir Ice Cream too. They want that kill.
Ah, they might not get it! Ah, it was actually close. That was an
escape.
opportunity they had. And in the end, they failed to drop him. But it opens up space for them at that bot lane where Neon and Sevka were able to go through the entire wall, and they make a play for the fountain, very likely to take it down too, which takes again the lane sustain away. So as long as nobody's rotating against him, they can commit here. But there is a bit of a play with vision since we have heroes hiding behind the gate, so they didn't really know if they could commit to the last few shots or not. But a grenade should solve the issue, and indeed it does.
In the top lane, Hydra and Leoric still battling it out. Hydra and Kronos have finally joined together in the standard solo laner selection, which is buying time once again. Both teams beginning mercenaries. The Siege Giant cap in the bot lane was taken a while ago, but it will be back in 50 seconds. The Siege Giants fought the Jabronis being taken and the Bruisers also being 3-man. So every hero currently grabbing mercenaries for the Jabronis.
We have the bigger they are, of course, and we've been talking also about ETC a little bit with this Proc Rock. He's currently at 10 stacks. I also want to highlight that Falster with the Season Marksman is currently at 15, roughly 6 minutes into the game. We have seen very long matches on Dragonshire, and Falstad later on is going to really capitalize on that auto attack damage. So Mopsio and his boys, they want to make a play before 10 ideally, but that level 10 ability could be a big problem. It's not there yet though, and they go for Neon, but he's able to just simply slide out of there. Has his fountain up as well, can tap the well, and now we're having them with heroic abilities, but once again we see Commandeer Odin, we have the Isolation, we see also Mighty Gust plus the Twilight Dream on Sevka. That might be a chance for them to make a bit of a play there if they can isolate someone, and they're trying to make that play in the middle of the map.
They're trying to get the Li Bing for now, but she's able to teleport out instead, picking up ETC, picking up Mopsio there, and guaranteeing a kill. Dahaka immediately heading back to top lane to soak against Kronos and just keep that XP lead that they were able to guarantee with that kill. But level 10s have now been acquired for the Jabronis, so as such, they're going to be able to defend a little bit more efficiently, but they're still down a hero for a couple seconds, but that hero has stage dive.
Yep, the Zero stage dive indeed. Top lane, Kronos versus Hydra. No stage dive used just yet. One shrine already under the control of the Circus. They take another camp here, give up the bot lane for a moment, but Power of Dream rotates back in, and it hasn't been recaptured by the Jabronis. We're seeing the teams both with heroic abilities right now. Still 50 seconds until Sevka has his Twilight Dream back though. He dropped it against ETC. Didn't actually have to do it, but he wanted to secure the kill. Better safe than sorry. Now they go for Mopsio again, and ETC had a bit of a problem during this game so far to stay alive already. Both deaths on the Jabronis were on him.
Yep, he is. A lot of that has been to do with him tanking for his team very well, but we have seen Mopsio every game. He does have a very aggressive style, and sometimes that does mean you get punished if the enemy team is as skilled as the Jabronis. So we'll see if he can work it out a little bit further on here. As skilled as the Russian Circus here. Still remembering from when he was on their team. But for the moment, we do see Hydra sneaking this back. So Ice Cream in a good position to guarantee it if Mopsio tries to contest, and that's going to be both shrines going over to Russian Circus right now, who are going to move in and try and grab the Dragon Knight.
I want to highlight the importance of the wells being destroyed in the mid and bot lane again. The fountain taken out takes a lot of the lane sustain away, so if there is going to be a battle in the mid lane, there could be an easy play by the Russian Circus, moving back, tapping well during the fight, and then moving back in. So it's a lot about how long you can really take the battle here. The bot shrine was now recaptured though by Leoric, which is nice for them, but let's keep in mind that there's also currently level 13, just half level away for the Russian Circus. The red team is totally willing to wait a little bit longer for a battle to actually happen, since they are waiting for it. But a nice entomb in the mid lane, and there should be a stage dive, and there it is.
Yeah, and this stage dive is going to happen without Falstad or Dahaka. Neither one have the globals, and as such, they will guarantee the kill. They weren't able to get anything, and as such, that puts them in a good position. They still have control of bot, and now they can move up to top. And if Falstad and Dahaka stay around, that could be a risky move for them. They will have to pull back, make sure they don't get ganked by this roaming 4-man, who is looking to try and guarantee this in the bot lane, though. Leo is having some trouble. He will get out of there just due to the fact that he's Leoric, but they will lose that shrine.
Yeah, they lose the shrine. It's 13 versus 13. Soon enough, though, the level 13 talent has been picked up by the Russian Circus already. That's the stuff. The heal is going to be great to give a bit of additional sustain, and the ice block on Malfurion will help also to mitigate some of that threat that the stage dive alone already has against Malfurion. But it's still a setup in which we are seeing the gap close. The Jabronis are doing well here. Falstad is still stacking. Dahaka secures top lane experience. And Falstad himself is on 26 extra damage, so still a bit away from completing his own quest talent.
Yeah, the other quest talents that still aren't completed yet, Proc and the reanimation, neither one have managed to get all the globes that they are looking for. But they're making their way there. They're rotating between the lanes once again. We're seeing some good rotation from the Jabronis, just trying to keep that map pressure that they got from their earlier kills. Paradream taking an orb to the face, and that will guarantee this bottom shrine to Cronus. Mobzio going to try and push Hydra off this, but there's no way he can win that fight, especially when he doesn't have vision on Falstad, so he does pull back.
Yeah, Falstad together. Oh, they're trying to take the camp. That might actually be interrupted. Kronos is not checking, though. So they get the Siege Giants. They're moving for the objective again. The Russian Circus in the lead in experience, but the talents are the same right now. So we have 13 versus 13. Gloom taken for Vala, so that she can avoid some of that ability damage. We're having in the mid lane them joining up again, and still, like, both of the teams just looking for the opportunity to maybe get a kill somewhere. And the camps, of course, are going to help to pressure the lanes. This at the top lane in particular is going to be pretty rough, since vision on the opponent's team is still there. It's a bit of a race happening right now, and I'm not quite sure if they can actually win it, especially since Falstad could always use Gust as a bit of a panic button if they want to save that fort.
Instead, for now, though, Ice Cream is just harassing the heroes. Cronus taking a huge amount of damage. He has to leave. There is the Gust. I think he wanted to try and isolate Cronus a bit, but now the fort will die thanks to the Siege Giant camp, but top fort died quite a while ago.
And they take the camp away. I mean, they simply steal the Bruiser camp now, so that's going to give them another edge. But there is an attempt to actually move in. Falstad needs to come in here. They could try and go for Leoric. He will drop the Entomb, and then ETC is going to stage dive again, or will he? He's getting dragged for now, but the flank is ready. Falstad is still at the bottom. I'm not sure why Falstad is waiting this long. The ice block was well done, but the strafe is already used on Vala. We're seeing the isolation coming in against her. Falstad is still at that bot lane. The 5 at the top is a 4 versus 5, but they actually win it.
Yeah, they didn't have to win it though. All they had to do was delay, because Falstad, while all this was happening, sneaks the Dragon Knight. Now, if they can get enough heroes out, they do lose Power of Dream. If they got all the heroes out, that would have been incredible. Losing one hero, not the worst thing in the world though. The Dragon Knight, though, being a bit hesitant here, staying in the mid lane, where it's just about to get rushed here by pretty much everyone from the Jabronis, and that's such. Dragon Knight pulling back, waiting for the rest of the team.
Again, the late game is in favor. Like, the longer this game lasts, the more pressure Falstad alone is going to be able to put on to the Jabronis. Also, after 20, when he has access to the Epic Mount, which is still way more likely than him going for the Nexus Frenzy, we will see him with much more global mobility. So I feel the late game, the power spikes that we get on the side of the Russian Circus are way better than what is going to happen for the Jabronis. So I think them using the Dragon Knight, or not really using it too much, it's in their favor. It's prolonging the game. It's really just saying, yes, we couldn't get too much value out of this because he killed a hero, but now the game is going to last even longer. Also, the top lane has, of course, been pressured by the Bruiser camp. So time is working in their favor, in my opinion. It's a dangerous game they play, though, of course, but still, it's something where they think they can capitalize on just delaying for the late game.
Yeah, but if they die now, there's going to be no more delaying. A good stage dive coming in, but he is rooted to delay it even more. Decozy, though, good vault, though, for a bit more micro to try and focus down onto Power of 3. He's stepping his way through this fight to try and keep the micro going. In comes Hydra from the Brack onto Cronus, and the first kill is going to be on Muradin, though.
Yeah, first kill against Muradin. The silence was good, but they couldn't really capitalize on it in the fashion they wanted to, so they didn't get the kill. It's interesting to see how much pressure the Ice Cream can actually put on the tanks, but the problem is they didn't have the focus they needed to get kills here. They used their globals, though, to immediately depush the top lane, and the only thing they lost so far in this game is a single fort. Same is true for their opponent, but right now we have still a lead in experience. We're seeing Falstad also about to complete his own quest talent, if I'm not mistaken. He's at 37 stacks right now, so then he will have the added attack speed. But they need to make sure that they focus a little bit more during these fights. They had an opportunity after the Twilight Dream to get a kill there, but they didn't focus the same heroes.
Yeah, they weren't able to get it down. Once again, Falstad with the cooldown reduction build, not going for that giant killer, which would have maybe helped him shred through Leoric or shred through ETC, although ETC did take the imposing presence on his level 16. He is now one globe away from finally completing his prog rock, whereas Leoric has finished his reanimation, and like you said, Falstad very close to finishing that season marksman, and then he could just start getting even more damage.
It's a 5 versus 5 right now, and we see the top lane being pressured by Dehaka. Now Dehaka has to be careful of one thing. If ETC is willing to sacrifice a stage dive cooldown to jump on him and interrupt a B-back when the rest of the team is already moving in, he could be in trouble at some point. It's not going to be of any relevance just now, but it's something to keep in mind. If Dehaka thinks he's safe enough and stays too long, that might be a problem later on in the game. The kill count, by the way, still in favor of the Jabronis. They're doing well with that. They have now the next Dragon Knight up for grabs. The quest talent for Falstad is completed. He has access now to his activatable, but both of the shrines have been taken, and Hydra is trying to recapture the one to the top.
Yeah, sneaky Hydra trying to grab him. Mopsio spots him. He's just going to try and delay this. He can't. Well, once again, ETC does not take preferable fights versus Dehaka with 1 versus 1s just due to the amount of time that he will end up spending stunned. He is fully stacked on prog rock, though. Every stacking talent in the game now is full. And we see a good amount of harassment once again onto Cronus.
Yeah, top lane also pressuring very hard with the Bruiser Camp, forces ETC back. Falstad is taking another wave at the bottom of the map and is going for the second shrine, so they can make the play in the middle of the map. Everybody is just still poking a little bit. And in damage output, Vala and Li Ming are very far high up here, but Falstad is continuing to get the pressure against the tanks, which is really starting to matter.
Dehaka moving in, finds Cronus. However, Cronus with the Ray Ball will keep himself alive. D2 doesn't hit anyone, but it does block Power of 3 with it. The silence only lands onto ETC, who's able to continue pushing through. They get the kill onto Leo in exchange for Tychus.
The focus is again missing a bit. Nice Iceberg on Sefkasha. Once more Hydra in a bit of trouble on his Dehaka, though, so Ice Cream is very low in hit points as well. They go for Power of Dream. It's a 1 versus 1 exchange, but now the Fountain comes into play. This is what we talked about earlier. They still have the Weller in the mid lane, so they can re-engage into the battle. We have ETC moving bot lane. He's trying to get the Shrine, and he's not able to do that. Not in time. Dragon Knight number 3 on the side of the Russian team, and they have only half a level until 20.
Yeah, we don't see any kind of delay tactics from the Jabronis to give ETC that time. Now ETC takes some huge damage from the Dragon Knight, and once again, we don't see the pressure coming out of the Dragon Knight because Tychus is still dead. Leo, seeing as he's the one who went down the fight, is already back because he fully stacked his reanimation talent. And as such, once again, like you mentioned earlier, Russian Circus saying, yeah, we know we're outnumbered here, we're not going to waste this Dragon Knight, we'll keep it alive for as long as possible, and that just delays the game even longer till the late game, and as such, Falstad can get more stacks as he's a marksman, and we can get closer to our level 20 talents, which will put us in a great position. The longer the game goes on, better it is for them.
They should still be able to make a bit of damage happen, since Tychus is now back and they still have another 30 seconds, so I would be surprised if not at least one of the forts is falling here. ETC can of course jump in. I don't like that Power of Dream is wasting his kick every time on Leoric. I think that's a huge misplay on his part. 20s are in there. Oh, nearly the insta-kill against Dickazoy, but he moves back and it is Malfurion that dies first. Hydra is also in trouble. A double kill against them. That's a massive problem right now for the Russian Circus. That was a very, very bad engage on their part.
Yeah, Power of Dream pops out of that Dragon Knight, he pulls back, but now we're seeing a huge push onto the bottom lane. Vala was punted away, but she didn't die, she just went back to base to get some health. She's now coming to join her team, or at least push the mid lane, maybe grab some mercenaries. Big red button though, doing some big damage as level 20 talents, and that will force the Jabronis to back off.
Yeah, I really, again, I dislike very much what we've seen with the Dragon Knight here. Going for the kick for the punt again 2 times against Leoric didn't do anything for him. He activated Wraithwalk, nothing happened. You kick any other target away in this situation and the fight is going a completely different way. But it had no effect. If anything, it really put them out of position. They went a bit too aggressive. They should have waited another moment. They know their stage dive on the board, so they had to wait for it. Now they're very likely to lose the keep here. Even with them using the Mighty Gust, great reaction by the way to the Entomb. They are going to lose the keep at the ground until they have to fight with 5 versus 5 again.
Yeah, the Entomb was super solid, like you said, the Gust. Perfect reaction, keeping everyone alive with the keep down. That's a lot of pressure onto this bot lane. And top lane, despite multiple bruiser caps pushing into it, the keep there is still alive for the Jabronis. And that's been their saving grace. They've reacted very well to Russian Circus putting monstrous amounts of pressure onto that lane.
7 kills against 3. The Jabronis are looking strong here. They have to be very cautious, of course. Ice Cream is by now at 50 extra damage. So he has another 10 damage since he completed his quest talent. The damage output starts to really reflect it. He's not overtaking Tychus yet. Tychus, of course, himself always a beast. We're having the top damage in the game, by the way, by Vala, and also Liming is doing fairly well here. 7 kills against 3, on the other hand, really tells the story thus far. We have a bit of a problem in these team fights for the Russian Circus. They only lost the keep here, and they're still playing around their globals quite nicely. But this is really with the death timers being this high, where you have to be super careful that you don't make a mistake. If you end up losing a hero before the fight starts, you are in serious trouble and could lose the core.
Yeah, this is why even with that Falstad global, we see Russian Circus staying so grouped together. Everyone except Dahaka, whose global's a little bit quicker than Falstad's, is hanging around the area, and Dahaka going to be able to clear this lane up fairly easily with his primal aggression, but he's still ready to help his team whenever he needs to. We're seeing the rotations right now. Majority of the Jabronis heading up to top lane, and Russian Circus already flying down to the bot lane, and that's okay because ETC, the only one with global, is the only one down here, so there's no chance of instant reinforcements. So it's just, once again, a shrine trade.
That was a bit risky, though.
It was a bit risky.
I mean, you just fly in, you don't even fly in the bush. That was a bit of a risky move.
I'm sure it's fine. Just fly straight away. I'm sure there's no one there.
Yeah, there comes the Entomb. Misses!
Ooh, okay.
This is big. This is huge. Stage Dive on the other hand. Iceberg already used. Stage Dive is in. Nice silence against 4, but they can't capitalize on it just yet. Power of Dream finds himself in a bit of trouble. Look at that damage! Down goes Brightwing. That's a problem. Power of Dream is still alive. Saves himself. Mighty Gust is pushing them away. 5 versus 4 in their favor. Kronos goes in once more, but Fawcett is already on the way up to the top to get the Dragon Knight. Maybe a bit too soon. It forced a 4 versus 4 fight down here, and Power of Dream is still in trouble. Jumps away just barely. Falstad gets the shrine, but I mean, he should have maybe stayed a bit longer there. That was a risky move out of the fight.
It was super risky, but not as risky as Li Ming currently heading for the shrine. No one's going to delay this, and that's another Dragon Knight going over to Russian Circus. They're going to try and finally use it, and they're trying to chase down Leoric. No kick this time, only axes, and they take him down. Now moving into the bot lane, where the fort is low. The fact is, the keep in top lane is exposed, but the Bridge of Death is too risky for them with that Entomb, with that stage dive. So instead, bot lane is the target. They push it in. Catapults, though, take down Fountain in the bot lane and will continue the pressure.
It shouldn't really be an issue, but the Haka is still moving back to defend. They know that he can just simply push Stalker in again. But yeah, the fight is won. A bit of a risky play by the Russian Circus in the middle, but it paid off. High risk, high reward here for them. And they are really like executing a lot of pressure plays right now. Hydra is moving in. ETC again with the stage dive. Already the Entomb on the ground. Power of Dream. Power of Dream. He's low. Jumping out just barely. And there comes the kill against Tychus though. And also Malfurion falling. Power of Dream eliminated. So Ice Cream didn't get the kill in. Uses a quick Mighty Gust. The focus is lacking, and this could be the end of the game. They get the keep. It's 4 heroes down, and they just, I mean, wow. They just threw. Big time.
The Ice Cream racing the enemy team back to his base. He goes into the backline though. If he can take down one, he might be able to delay for a bit. He's harassing Nikazoid, but Linked is there with him. There's the polymorph. Rest of the team immediately moving on to the core. There is a catapult here to defend now, but the core is under harassment. 28 seconds until the next hero. So Ice Cream will have a fountain, but there's no way he can defend this. He goes 1 versus 1. In comes Moxio though to make it a 3 versus 1, and that is GG.
The team fights end in favor of the Jabronis, and they do well. They completely capitalize on the mistakes of the Russian Circus. They take the game, and therefore the lead in the best of 5. GG, well played. We're going to jump into game number 2. Okay, guys, the last game actually turned really quickly here. We have now Tomb of the Spider Queen coming up. At the end of the last game, it was really quite obvious that Russian Circus, when it came to coordination in team fights, was maybe struggling a bit. Great decisions on the map for the objective, good rotations, but the team fight coordination was not really on the level where it was supposed to be, especially the Dragonite moving back to try and take the keep. Falstad being in the Dragonite took a lot of the damage away, kicking Li Ming behind the team, putting her into the back here didn't help either. Now the Jabronis are in the lead after they played a solid team fight battle on Dragonshire. Game number 2 is on Tomb of the Spider Queen, on the other hand, and we of course have the draft starting up again. Keep in mind this is a best of 5 series, so the second game here will either bring Jabronis into a massive lead or we're going to just like tie the series, at least for now. The ban on Li Ming this time, apparently not so much worried about the ETC, but Li Ming, they don't want to deal with her here. And let's see what the Jabronis are going to go for with her first ban there.
Yeah, we will have to see for the moment. And Russian Circus so far have been basically permanent bridesmaids and never the bride, getting so close and putting up a good fight against Misfits in the first qualifier, and then narrowly losing out to BGDS in the second qualifier. Russian Circus, they really want to make their way into this. Jabronis, though, standard ban out for the start with the ETC ban.
Now, they picked a lot of Malfurion first, but on this map in particular, we have seen Sefka pick up a fair amount of Oriel too, since he can use the Detainment Strike quite nicely around the objective to get those extra stuns in. So the question is really for them now, how do you open up again? Do you drop the Malfurion once more? Do you prioritize him highly enough? Or do you just say like, well, whatever, if they pick Malfurion, we are still fine picking Oriel afterwards. So as you can see, the time pool is racing down here. They are thinking about the exact same thing, and they actually decide to let Malfurion go for now and go instead to a priority of Gul'dan, since they expect the Jabronis to pick the hero away if they don't take it now.
Yeah, the Malfurion being picked away would make sense for them, and it's just a solid pick in general. The Moonburn, very good at clearing here. Combos well with Valor, with Li Ming, with basically every assassin that uses mana. It works pretty effectively with, so still a fairly long time for the Jabronis. They want to make sure that their picks are 100% correct. They may also right now be considering what else to pick with the Malfurion, because if you have the time, you might as well use it. They start off with the Tychus.
Yeah, Tychus taken. He was a huge target for them in the last game. Of course, he's one of the most dangerous assassins, range assassins that we currently have in the game, so a priority target for nearly every composition. We have been talking about also potential sniper comps again. And if you wanted to do something like it, Tomb of the Spider Queen would be a good map for it. Another thing to mention here is that the Russian Circus played now 2 times in a row in the quarterfinals on the last map that we casted and in the first map of this best of 5 semifinal. The false stat on this map for stacking purposes, so they could do that again. We have with Jabronis heading into Johanna still a lot of wiggle room here for the Russian Circus. They can still pick up the Malfurion if they want him. They can go into a Vala if they want to over the false stat. So just throwing it out there, they had a bit of a priority on Falstad overall and trying to get that stacking going for Season Marksman.
Yeah, and Gus last game were pretty on point, and in all their previous games as well. Last game didn't really work out 100% for them, just due to losing a lot of the team fights. But in this one, they already have the Gul'dan, they have that lovely Horrify, and the Gus combined with that just gives them so much area control, as long as you don't cast them together, like we saw in a previous game in this qualifier.
Muradin for the front line. I mean, if you're talking tanks, Muradin, of course, is great as having him as the main tank with ETC ban and Johanna taken. That doesn't shock so much. You could have seen some kind of maybe like Tyrell composition, but overall Muradin is definitely like the more popular hero in that setup. You can always like put a Leoric in as a second one. You can go for the Thrall here, which they played in the games before, so that could be the bot liner that they're aiming for here. But there's a lot of heroes that you really want to pick here at this point. You want to go for the Thrall if you are for like if they copy the same pattern that they had the last time they played the map. Malfurion would be a great pick. There's a lot out there that he can destroy right now, and I'm still waiting for one of the teams trying to throw a bit of a curveball here and trying to show some strategies that so far they haven't really revealed.
Now, though, still standards. Curveballs yet, the Malfurion picked up for Russian Circus combo that with the Gul'dan. And like you said, that's just going to be perfect for them if they still want to pick the Falstad. It can be banned out, but it's not 100% likely. They can still get a chance for it. And even if it is, they still have Valor, they still have Li Ming. Well, they don't have Li Ming, sorry, she is banned. But they still have Valor, they have Falstad, they have plenty of options, unless Jabronis decide to pick one and ban one, which they could do here.
One of the things that the Jabronis have, of course, going for them here as well is that Mopsio played with the Russian Circus for quite a bit, so Mopsio knows about a lot of the preferences that the Russian Circus has. That's a lot of inside information that you have right there. Of course, analyzing an opponent, getting scrim data helps you to a certain extent, but having that inside knowledge and about what is being discussed and not only what is being picked, that helps you a lot. The Russian Circus with the ban on Morales, and it really seems like they at least have some kind of knowledge about what the Jabronis really like to do here, banning out a healer that we don't see taken all that often. But I'm very curious to see if the Jabronis have like maybe some kind of a weird pick that can counteract the Russian Circus directly, thanks to that inside knowledge that Mopsio is going to provide.
Yeah, we will have to see. But of course, Paradream just bring a completely different style to Russian Circus, so the builds aren't going to be exactly the same. But the mind games here are going to be real, and that might be what's keeping us to very standard drafts for the moment. Jabronis, with their next pick, we already mentioned the Falstad. They could pick that away from the Russian Circus, limit their options in terms of the ranged assassins that work at least the best with Malfurion. Pretty much every assassin works well with Malfurion, but they clearly want the ones who work the best. So starting off with the Leoric, getting that solid solo laner, and someone who can do a seriously good job with the gems. And of course, the Jabronis have just made some insane use out of it in all of their games so far.
The entombs at this point have been pretty solid. And to be absolutely honest here, I've seen several games in the past where we had Johanna just simply going for the Falling Sword, and given that they so far just used the opportunity to drop entombs and then simply capitalize on that, we could see a Falling Sword Johanna here. We have the Wailing Arrow of Sylvanas, so there's a lot of snowball potential. And there's a sick amount of wave clear that they already have. I mean, them can be used here. You have then also the Skeleton Swing on the side of Leoric. So there's quite a few tools that they have available at this point if they want to try and snowball it with those combos. The Russian Circus needs to be very careful that the positioning within the fight is on point, because if they get trapped by tombs again, like happened several times in the last game, they are going to run out of options very soon. And we talked about it, Falstad is a priority pick for them, so Russian Circus very likely to again play it here with the Seasoned Marksman and trying to get that pressure on against Johanna and also Leoric.
Yeah, and now we have their last pick, gonna be a melee. Question is which one. A solo laner is quite necessary. They could run the Alarak here to go with the sort of combo ranged melee. The Thrall here, like you just said, potential for that. There is, of course, the Chen, which we've seen just annihilate a lot of Leoric so far, so plenty of options for them.
They played Thrall the last time. Oh,
hey, we forgot about that.
I didn't really forget about it. I just didn't think they would pick it here. I mean, yes, Hydra loves the hero, but so far we've seen him play it on two maps, Braxis Holdout and on Dragonshire, and on both maps he gets a lot of value because of the objective. On this map, Misha can still pick up the gems, which is nice, but I didn't really think that they would prioritize the hero this much on Tomb of the Spider Queen. That's pretty cool to see. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, Hydra really likes it, puts a lot of priority, doesn't matter the map, he feels that his micro is going to be dominant for it. We will see if it works. It is going to do well against Leoric once he has that Hungry Bear talent, so yeah, we will see how well they do.
So Misha is being picked up. Let's see what we're going to have in our second game. Jabronis, ladies and gentlemen, going up against the Russian Circus again on Tomb of the Spider Queen, with Oriel being the last pick for the Jabronis. Let's jump straight into game number 2. The game is on, everybody, and the Jabronis are in the lead. 1-0 against the Russian Circus here at the HGC Qualifier semi-final, the last qualifier. The 1-0 lead for the Jabronis brings them into the lead, and now we have Tomb of the Spider Queen as our second map, with the Russian Circus as the left side. Hydra on Rexa, Neon on Gul'dan, Sefka on Malfurion, so Ice Cream on Falstad again, and Power of Dream is playing the Muradin. To the right side of the map, we're currently seeing Mopsio and Johanna. We have Dikazoy playing for the Jabronis on Tychus. Kronos again on the Leoric, linked on Oriel this time, and Make is playing Sylvanas. So with her being played here, there's of course a lot of snowball potential. And in terms of builds, nothing shocking just yet. We have Corruption being stacked on level 1 for Gul'dan, and again, for Sir Ice Cream, the focus on the Seasoned Marksman as expected. A great map for him to get the stacks going here. So let's see how they can actually do on this particular one. We're expecting Neon, of course, sorry, not Neon, but Misha to eventually take the bot lane. So yeah, this is a game that's going to decide a lot for this series.
Some of the other talents we're seeing on level 1, Globes galore. We have the Hunter-Gatherer for the Rexar and the Misha, Regen Master for the Johanna, and the Reanimation for Leoric, who is on his way to the bot lane. Misha tempted to guard, but Leoric is able to ghost past.
They really hate Mopsio, don't they?
They really do.
2 heroes focusing on that immediately and just hammering Mopsio down. Fawcett is even giving up the stacks from the top lane, simply saying, I don't care, I just want to kill the guy. So yeah, they're jumping in and push a lot of damage on him. It's not really, it shouldn't really be of any likely consequence. Going to be healed up by Oriel soon enough. Has to activate his Iron Skin here though. But the rotations are happening right now with both of the stacking players joining that fight. And down to the bot lane, as expected, Misha and Hydra, they are dancing that little dancing.
Yeah, they're just pushing this forward. And Kronos will do very well in this lane as long as he continues to consistently drains until Rexar gets that Hungry Bear kind of way to be able to get so much value. Ligzoy taking some poison there from Gul'dan, Gul'dan getting even more stacks, and he's hitting pretty much everything. His damage output at the start of the game is insane.
Yeah, Gul'dan is always pretty nice to have in your team, especially on a map like this. In any map where you rotate between 2 lanes, if he can be part of that rotation, you are more or less bound to get an early completion on your talent. And whoa, Mucker taken out. Great kill. The counter kill against Gul'dan is happening though, and Sefkasha could actually fall as well. Barely gets out of there. Power of Dream is also hopping away at the last moment. Dickezoy is making it out. This was actually like both teams having the potential to get a second and maybe even a third kill here after we started off with that trade on Sylvanas against Gul'dan.
Yeah, Power of Dream with the perfectly timed stun to deny that Haunting Wave away, which is why we saw Sylvanas get taken down here. But like you said, both teams have the opportunity, but good protection from their allies here. Kronos continue to drain the bear, but Hungry Bear is now available. Basically, that's going to be an impossible late to win, but he will also be able to sustain and not have to go back for health or mana at all.
Right now, when we're talking rotation, it really feels like the Russian Circus has a bit of an edge here. They are doing really well with it. Half Dream, on the other hand, has to be quite careful. He's starting to lose a lot of HP. The thing is that he still went into Third Wind on level 1, so he's going to get that HP back very fast. That's the pressure against Tychus. Dickezoy is about to fall. He's gonna die. Muradin confirms the kill, but again, it's a trade. Once more, it's Gul'dan that falls. Market tries to get out, so Ice Cream confirms a kill against him now too, so it's a 2-for-1 in the end. Very aggressive game from both of these teams.
Yes, sir, Ice Cream only just getting enough mana for that barrel roll, which gave him a good shield there to turn around onto Mako and guarantee that kill. But super well done by him. He's going to be able to be back and fly back to lane without too much trouble. Bot lane, Misha continues to bully Kronos as far back as possible. Kronos, he's still picking up gems. He's a little bit behind, but he's still looking fairly good in this game right now. He's going to collect those for his team and get ready for a turn-in, which will eventually happen.
The stacking process that we are seeing on Gul'dan is of course slowed down by him dying twice already. 3 kills against 2 overall. So Ice Cream is capitalizing on the other hand on all the takedowns that he is involved in. So not only the rotation itself is helping him here, stacking his season marksman, but also killing opponent heroes. We are still having a fairly balanced game between the two of them, but again the aggression up into the top. And Sefkasha is doing a fairly decent amount of good on-point routes that help his team to put the pressure on individual heroes. Both teams still heading for level 7, but yeah, down at the bot lane, still that fight happening in Kronos. He's pushing this back fairly nicely. I mean, he has the wave clear here. He's doing a pretty decent job with this.
Yeah, Rexar, though, has just managed to acquire his Bird of Prey, though, which increases his lane push even more. And Leo's going to have some trouble. However, Leo has increased his radius with the Ghastly Reach here. He's going to be able to hit more minions and, of course, get a bit more harassment as well out of this and a bit more wave clear. So a pretty fun duel down in this bot lane. Going quite well, but the first turn-in going over to the Russian Circus.
The Russian Circus has the turn-in, and we have by now on level 7 Maka picking up the barbed shot for Sylvana, so he has an easier time taking down the web weavers as well. The thing that I want to point out is that we have a lot of gems on Mopsio, and he's always at the front line, so he needs to be super careful that he doesn't fall. If he dies and they lose those gems, that would be a disaster, and it would allow a snowball for the Russian Circus, so this is a fairly important phase in the game now for both of these teams. They need to kill a few structures to get the experience lead, and if they have a chance to isolate Mopsio, then they will jump on that opportunity.
Yeah, that's what they're going to want to do right now. Webweaver will die before the Mexican wave, but it does get the spiders out. So they will hold back the minion wave a bit and let the minions push up from the side of Russian Circus, who move up to the top lane to help this Webweaver. The minion's still alive, getting cleared up by that Fell Flame from Leon. Doesn't hit Mucker, but he's still going to get an immense amount of damage. But here comes the engage onto Leon, trying to chase him down. Here comes Sylvanas very deep in, and she gets turned on immediately, but not killed off. Sevka on the run, gets stunned up. There's the grenade and the repulsion, and they get him.
Yeah, can they get a counter kill though? Whoa, the kill against Sylvanas Power of Dream gets out. I was actually more worried about him falling than anything else. Now it's Mopsio's time to worry, but he is able to get out of here. It is a nice lead in experience on the other hand now for the Russian Circus, but these trades that the two teams have right now are getting a bit crazy. I mean, they go really deep for these kills.
Yeah, they are going super aggressively here, and we're seeing a lot of aggressive detainment strikes out of Ariel, which we've already mentioned in one of the previous matches, just has so much value on this map due to the fact there's so many walls you can just trap people up against to get some good shots. Mopsio, once again, playing a little bit aggressive, looking for his opportunity, but pulling back to his team. He knows there's still a hero down, because Sylvanas is sneaking the bruiser.
Yeah, we have level 10 on the play for the Fountain again. So Ice Cream is already on 18 stacks on the Season Marksman, which is actually quite a bit, considering that we are not even hitting the 7-minute mark just yet. Talking Gul'dan for a moment, he's on 30. And they have the level 10s, of course, which is a huge lead. They also have the gem count that they need to get another turn in. If they can sneak that, that would be great. And so Ice Cream is trying to make that happen. If he gets that through, that's all they need for now.
Mopsio denies the turn-in, but takes a lot of corruption hits for his trouble. Stunned up by Paradream, and that is a turn-in by Sir Ice Cream, protected by his team. Good job there, Paradream, having to jump out though. He gets flesh shielded, here comes the Wailing Arrow, but the Detainment Strike not stunning, instead just pushes Paradream to safety.
Yeah, Tranquility use, Sefkaje keeping the team alive. Yeah, a lot of heroics have been dropped in the last fight, 2 on each side. So 4 in total. The Blessed Shield hasn't really hit as intended, but this is now the snowball opportunity that the Russian Circus has. 33 stacks on Gul'dan. He needs another 7 to complete it. We have Falstad at this point on 20 extra damage, and when we're talking reanimation, we have 16 stacks on Leoric. He has been at the bot lane the entire time, so his stacking process is a bit slower, but the fight in the mid lane is about to start as Power of Dream is engaging from the side.
Trying to drop the stuns, the Gust is used Aegis to try and protect Linked here, but he's focused down. No more Aegis, he wasn't able to heal himself up enough. So Ice Cream getting focused, the Entomb used as a wall here, like a false wall, focusing onto Sevka, but Kronos is on his own. The grenade from Tigers though guarantees that kill, making it a 2-for-1 though, as Johanna was zoned to the top and killed off.
Johanna killed off, and still the play for the front. Keep in mind, the Web Weavers are still there. We have Web Weavers pushing the bot lane and the top at this point. Neon is always very, very deep for these kills, and that means that he's taking a lot of damage, as you can see here, so he needs to be very cautious now. But the Web Weavers have done a solid amount of damage, and we are a level ahead for the Russian Circus. With Mopsio falling, they haven't really lost too many gems yet, since he could turn in before that happened. We have 43 gems in their hands, so they can still get that turn in. And as the level 13 talent isn't ready for the Russian Circus, they can't rely on a talent advantage yet. But they have, again, decent stacking going. Gul'dan by now is 5 stacks from being done with his quest talent.
Yep, he's doing a pretty secure job here. Falstad also stacking pretty quickly, and right now the person be forward doing quite well and was doing well for a while in terms of the stack game is Rexar and Misha. Misha actually getting picked off here as well, but he's not managed to get as many globes as he would have been hoping by this point.
Yeah, so far we actually have Mopsio taking the damage again. Horn hasn't been used here, neither the Mighty Gust. They didn't have to disengage. Red Web Weavers have now been completed. There's the Entomb. Gust has to be used if they want to avoid this. They go for Dickasaur on the other hand. And they still... There's the Gust, finally, but not really hitting too many targets. They're still trying to get the kill against Tigers. They might as well get it, but they can't engage too hard. They get Sylvanas instead, so Ice Cream had to move away before he could eliminate Odin. The Web Weavers are coming in, though. The fight isn't over, as Mopsio was still trying to re-engage, but it might be the end of Leoric. He barely gets out with a Great Wall.
Speaking of the bear, Misha just causing devastation in the backline is finally going to be pulled back after doing some immense harassment to Dickasaur.
Giant Killer. I like it. We've talked about the adjustment a lot. And there is the kill against Leoric, but the Ice Cream needs to be careful. Mopsio too! He dodges with a good Iron Skin, the Storm Ball. That was clutch, but he's still not out of trouble. 38 gems, and they lose them all, Tetcher!
They have to guard this. They're trying to. Maka attempted to sneak in, but Power of Dream, Sevka, and Neon all in position to prevent those from being picked back up. Kronos will respawn here, and Wraithwalks to dodge out that Stormbolt, moving into the mid lane to continue to regain all of those gems that he just lost. But like you said, so many gems. It was an amazing kill for them.
I've been talking quite a bit during the game and the draft, be it with the Giant Killer advantage that you have. You give up a bit of safe poke damage that you have, of course, with the cooldown reduction thanks to the additional hammer ranks. But the advantage is that you get the pressure against all of those tanks. Neon, we've been talking about him being too aggressive, and that is proven true once more. He moves out to catch the gems, gets too greedy, and it results in a kill against them. Big mistake here from Gul'dan, and we have a play for boss as an immediate reaction from the opponent's team upon the kill against him.
Gust is up for this. This is their good opportunity to do this, but remember, Wraithwalk's available. The Aegis is available. There's going to be a very difficult steal here. Baka getting himself out of that boss area, though, and Ariel taking some huge harassment. Baka actually almost going back in here. Misha just creating so much harassment in the backline, but that's way too far forward for Ice Cream, but he does get Baka, and he gets out.
He gets the kill and gets out, but I totally agree. He was super aggressive, hyper aggressive here. Way too deep. They could have resulted in kill against him, but it was a risky play, and they get rewarded this time. The play for boss, on the other hand, was too obvious. And the one thing that I want to point out, you talked a bit about the heroic abilities that were up. I feel like the most important point was which heroic ability wasn't, and that was the Entomb. If they have the Entomb here, they can trap whoever moves in and checks boss, and they didn't. So they couldn't capitalize it. They lose a hero. They can't make anything out of that kill against Gul'dan. They find themselves still very far behind in this game right now. Could be a talent against them in just a few seconds, as 16 is so close for the Russian Circus. And let's not forget about Sir Ice Cream continuing to stack this damage.
Yeah, he is getting so much damage right now. He's almost about to get his attack speed boost that he gets for completing the Season Marksman quest. Gul'dan, has already completed his Echoed Corruption, but he's the only one to have completed any of his quests so far in this game.
Also, the damage output, 45,000 for Leoric, thanks to him draining the tanks, and 45,000 on Falstad for him pressuring the front line. Level 16 talents. He's actually waiting with his 16 right now. It's an interesting choice for Falstad if you decide to go into Giant Killer. There's also the option to simply go for the movement speed after a barrel roll, which can be quite nice for maneuverability. Most players still go for the Tailwind reaction, the faster reaction of the Tailwind, but it's still one of the talents that you could go for. And actually, the way that he's playing right now, with how deep he goes, I would like him to go for that talent. I think he could put that to great use.
Yeah, I think the barrel roll, just to get him out of there so that he doesn't, so that he has an escape plan, would be very solid for him. He could also, if he's going to continue to go aggressive for kills, go for the extra slow on his hammer rank that you can also get on this level. Yeah. For now, Odin dropped very early for the defense here. Level 16 will be available very soon for the Jabronis here, as they put up a stellar defense right now.
Up to the top lane, Mopsio was fighting with Sir Ice Cream, and he fought a bit of a losing battle there and had to move back for now. 16 is not there yet, but Leoric is trying to get that at the bot lane. It means, of course, that in the middle of the map we only have 3 heroes defending. The wall falls, and now the rotation is hitting the top. It is indeed the slow on the hammer. Did not decide in favor of the additional movement speed, but the hammer slow, of course, is also going to give him a good tool for these fights. Talking about tools for the fight, keep in mind, Leoric is moving in from below now, but Hydra already scouted it out with Misha. Well done, and they actually go aggressively for Leoric, trying to get a kill here.
Yeah, splitting up onto both sides of Leoric here, so that if he entombed, he would still be trapped in between them right now. And Falstad chasing him down to try and get the kill here, but Kronos will barely escape, and there's a bit of a fight up in the top lane.
Yeah, Power of Dream is getting his avatar through. In comes Falstad. They're turning into a 5 versus 4 kill against Tigers nearly immediately. Good heal also coming from Malfurion, and a second kill confirmed as Mopsio falls, drops the remainder of the gems that they have. Falstad by now also had his own talent completed on 1, so his Season Marksman attack speed is confirmed. He has 45 attack damage at this point, 16 versus 16 in talents, but a play for boss is being made off the back of the 2 kills that the Russian Circus just confirmed.
Yeah, I just want to call out just Ice Cream for the amazing play there of him being the global hero, zoning Leoric so far away from the fight, meaning that his team were guaranteed a 5 versus 4 because he could just fly, whereas Leoric had to walk, and he walked in from behind hoping for a good in-2, but it was too late. The Hannah was already dead. Sorry, Titus was already dead.
Linked, by the way, had to cancel his own Hearthstone. It's not of any consequence, nobody could interrupt, but that already played that a bit. In terms of damage output, 63,000 for Sir Ice Cream. The damage is really adding up right now, and he is just keeping the stack nearly on 50 damage. The tanks are suffering. The Giant Killer combo is so strong here. They don't even bother gusting anybody away after that entomb. They just go full on for Kronos, isolate him then in the end after all, but that kill was easily confirmed, and they go for Maka now, who barely jumps away with a Haunting Wave.
Jabronis not even fully stacked on his regeneration right now, so he's not going to come back as early as he would like to. There's the stun onto Maka with the corruption. He's getting focused down, tries to make it to base. He makes it inside. He will survive there, but Neon is taken down in exchange. Good wailing arrow.
Good Wailing Arrow confirming the kill against him. Not only him, it's Falstad who has fallen as well. Both of the damage dealers are down. They're trying to get additional kills, going for Power of Dream. A good root on the ground by Sevkaja is at least for now avoiding it. There's no Entomb for Leoric for another 5 seconds. And thanks to Misha slowing them down again, has to do that again though, they are able to escape here. 19.5, 18 on the side of the Jabronis. The game not over yet, but the keep at the top lane has fallen, and it's 13 kills against 7. But Sylvanas is starting to get value for the red team.
Yeah, they're going to guarantee a fort here, and those kills were huge for the Jabronis. They're still a level behind, but they're working their way back into this. They'll get top fort as well. This banked up XP that they've had from not killing structures is beginning to pay off for them. And Khaldor, this is a semi-final.
Yeah, this is the semi-final. We are having them for fight. They fight for every inch of the map right now. In Talents, we also have the Wrath of Heaven, which of course makes especially ability damage a lot stronger here. And that's something where Oriel can really just help out with the damage output overall. The level 20 talent is going to be really interesting now, though, on the side of the Russian Circus. They got the keep at the top lane, but they need to make more happen than that. We could have actually seen even a Nexus Frenzy on Falstad. If he wants to fully commit on this, he could have done it, but they decide to still use the added mobility with the Epic Mount. It's such an amazing talent. Epic Mount is so good. It's a very, very difficult decision to give that up. With all the damage that they have right now, already 50 extra damage on Falstad, plus the Giant Killer, they could have made that decision. It also allows Falstad to stay a little bit farther back, but we have, of course, next to that also now the Hardened Skin on 2 heroes, and we have a Storm Shield, and the fight starts once again, Tetcher.
The Odin once again being dropped to defend here. They're clearing up the bruises very easily, thanks to that extra damage from Sylvanas, and a good defense from the Jabronis once again, but now Odin is not going to be available for the team fights. So it's being used effectively each time, but once again Jabronis forcing themselves into an interesting position in terms of how aggressive they can be on the map once they have the level 20. 70 seconds for the Odin, and level 20 very quickly approaching.
And once 20 is there, we have to highlight it again, how much value Sylvanas can get if you lose a team fight right now. Of course, you are looking great at structures. You have to keep taking down. You have 30 against 7 kills. You might get the next Web Weaver wave. But if you lose a big team fight, maybe after a Wailing Arrow hits, a good combo with the Entomb dropping before that, and all of a sudden the game can turn around. The death timers are so high at this point that a Sylvanas, like one team might killing 4 heroes, a really bad team fight, and you might lose the game right here and then. So you need to be super careful still. You cannot take this for granted here. And the Jabronis know that. They're waiting for an opportunity.
Balls have been dropped. The Entomb to trap out Hydra here, but the fear is good this time, forcing Tychus and Maka away, both the damage dealers, but Leoric continues to tank. He's trying to escape here. Muradin jumps on him, but he still lives. Falstad from behind, though, gets the Gust, forces them against the wall. They try to turn onto Mopsio. Maka gets away, but Tychus is stunned out. He will go down.
Neon is so low, but he still survives, and we have 2 kills against the Jabronis. The damage on Falstad, 81,000 he dropped out. The only hero that actually has more damage on the game is Sylvanas. She's been doing some incredible work over these past few minutes. We have the double kill confirmed. There's no boss on the map, but they're trying to go for the turn-in. Kronos is there, Power of Dream deep pushing the lanes. They're trying to push in once again, of course. They can complete the turn-in. The boss is not going to be ready for another 16 seconds. Tychus is down for 33. They're waiting for it. They're trying to make the play. They're waiting in there. Kronos is moving in. He's a bit too aggressive with that, but the stun misses him. They put some extra damage, some free damage on him, but now the boss is about to appear, and this is where the Russian Circus is saying, like, okay, we can get this. We're going to take it.
The Jabronis, it's their last chance to defend this. There's no keep up in this lane, so if the boss comes, that's going to be so hard to defend. Johanna begins to wade in, Power of Dream to the backline, onto Maka, doing some good damage with the good attainment strike from Lynx, who try and slow him down. Kronos gets a good shield thanks to Ariel there. Maka coming over the wall, but without Tychus, there's not enough damage. There's the Mighty Gust, and Maka getting feared. He will be taken out.
He's down, Linked is attacked, so Ice Cream is on it. In comes Tigers trying to go for a counter kill, but Mopsio is also isolated. Good route again from Sevka, as we are seeing the Iron Skin used once more on the side of Johanna. There's the Aegis, but it's not going to change anything, or is it? They are already using the Indestructible here. We're having them on the run, but the power of Dream Jumps hops after them. Gul'dan goes down, actually. It's a counter kill. They turn it around. The bird is nearly dead. We have a 4 versus 4. Another kill. Leoric came back, and that changed everything.
The Auric chases forward. They go for Power Dream with 25 health. He gets over the wall. A minion would get and Tigers gets him. So
okay, this is getting crazy. Web Weavers, the turn is confirmed. So Ice Cream gets the turn. That denies boss. That denies the boss.
Such a clever move by Sir Ice Cream, keeping his team in that game after that disastrous turnaround. And wow, the Jabronis keeping themselves in this game. A quick shout out though, just quickly, because he deserves it, to Hydra. Just the amount of harassment Misha has been doing to the backline. Hydra has more hero damage than Gul'dan in this game.
The thing is, like, the trap at the boss was great. It was the right choice. They take the fight, they get the kills, and then they get too greedy. They see 2 heroes like moving away. They don't account for Tigers rejoining the fight, and they don't think about Leoric coming back so quickly, thanks to him going for reanimation. So all of a sudden, it's actually them being in a really bad spot. Neon dying. How many times did he die? He died 5 times on his cooldown, and then the fight turned around completely. They could have lost so much here.
They could have indeed. But now all the heroes are alive. Misha once again on the run in this mid lane. Falset very far forward, but he's getting some harassment. The Entomb used for just Misha here, and Misha gets the hardened shield. She will survive this.
Hashtag worth it. Totally. She's scary right now. Power of Dream! Ooh,
oh my
jumps
God.
out, does not have to use ult, but here comes the battle. There they go. They try to go again for an isolation. The Aegis was used, saved Nikazoid, but they try to use the Gust against him. Shields galore, they are everywhere. Already Malfurion with the heals, but the killing is false, and that's the main damage shield. They're losing 1, they're losing 2. Malfurion is dead. Tigers falls. Maka is also down. It's a 2 for 2, but they're so low. Neon is drop. Power of Dream is on the run. Hydra and Misha, they're doing what they can. This is a slugfest at this point. There's no defense anymore. It's just kill for kill for kill the entire game.
The Aegis perfectly dropped on Tychus while he was transforming into his Odin, so he popped out in the Odin, kept him alive before he was burst down, and then he was able to drop some crazy damage, that nuke killing of Sevka. And the Jabronis, they get a turn in Khaldor. I don't know what's happening.
I have no idea either. This game is getting insane. They killed Sylvanas. That was important. If she falls, they're in so much trouble. Look at the... this is crazy. 82,000. Look at this! 82,000 on the side of Misha and Hydra. They nearly get the kill there, but the Entomb is being dropped. And again, the Stormbolt against Mopsio. Mopsio is in so much trouble. Power Dream goes for it. The boars have been unleashed. They're going for a potential kill.
Linked has to drop a shield. It's the Ice Cream trying to focus him down. Linked still on the run. Hydra nearly getting killed by the wave from the Web Weaver. Ariel has escaped. The Ice Cream over the wall. No kills there.
This game is getting insane. 100,000 damage on Falstad and on Sylvanas. They are completely playing out of their mind here. This game doesn't make sense anymore. This is just about getting the next kill and confirming. We have 19 kills against 13. 19 against 13. That's 32 kills in this game.
There's 32 kills overall in this game. Boss, several attempts, but no captures of it right now. And we see the Misha taking a lot of damage, but once again, sustaining through, getting healed by Rexar, not even burning out the hardened shield that time. So he's still going to be able to use this. Ariel has her Shield of Hope available once again, which has been the saving grace in so many of these fights.
Especially for Tychus. I mean, he was saved like thousands of times. Mopsio is there. The stun. This could be it. Sir Ice Cream is down. Sir Ice Cream is down, and that's a disaster for them. They try to go for Kronos. They can't get the kill. They have to move back right now. Falset falling is a disaster. Mopsio with a trap. It worked out. They will go for boss. And the bot lane is being pressured as well. This could be game. This could be Russian Circus actually losing it here. The trap is being set. Already the Odin is being popped. They're going for it.
Boss is still aggro though, is doing some huge damage to Bucket in the background. Misha tanking hugely. Will the boss leech it? No, it won't. They're keeping it aggro. Here comes the big red button. Only hitting power. No, it doesn't even hit Power of Dream for now. The boss getting taken down. Power of Dream trying to wade through. Misha in the backline doing some damage to Tychus. Once again, no false dead, so no gust for this. Neon getting nuked in the back.
They have to go. They have to retreat. They have to defend. They have to try and defend. They have to wait for a false set and try and defend. They cannot fight here anymore. We have a lot of heroic abilities already used for this, but now they need to get out of here, and they need to do it fast. Falstad will be back for the defense, but the boss, that is a lost battle. They cannot make this play.
Oh,
there's Misha, barely escaping there. The keep is still there. I mean, it would be a miracle for them to save it, but Falstad is back to business. Maybe they can save themselves here. Keep that Sylvanas in mind. That's the game changer right there.
It is, though, a 5 versus 5. Both teams looking for an opportunity. The Horrify is about to come back, and if we see an overextension from the Jabronis, that could end the game right now. The Keep will drop here. It's a question of if they can make anything out of this. Power of Dream pulling back the Mighty Gust Use so they can clear the boss. That's one heroic down for this.
Yes, and the Keep has fallen. That was obvious.
He's
that would happen. But it's the play. This is the play against Zefka. Iceberg already used to go for Kronos. Look at Power of the Dream and so Ice Cream dishing out the damage here. The boss is going for the core, but it's a little bit too low. Kronos is about to fall. Kronos is about to go down and he is dead. The boss is on the core. He's starting to do damage, but Maka falls as well. They cannot finish this. They just can't. It can't happen. Mopsio is eating so much damage right now. Falstad is wrecking him. The indestructible procs. Power of Dream doesn't even care about him anymore. He wants to go for Tychus. Tychus has been shitting all over him the entire game, and Power of Dream is mad. The dwarf wants revenge. Down goes Johanna. Dikazoy is there. The Odin is not going to matter anymore. This has to be it, Tetcher.
That is going to be it. Lynx trying to buy time for anyone to come back. Leoric will revive here. He's going to try and buy some time as well. He slows down Neon, heading to the core. It's Ariel and Leoric. Ariel escapes. She can be back to base right now, so it's going to be a 2-man defense right now. And Cronus delaying this as long as possible. Sylvanas will be back in 20 seconds.
Sylvanas back in 20 seconds. They're hopping in. They're going for it. The Keep falls in the middle, by the way, at the same time now. They are starting to go for it. They go for the core. This has to be it. This just simply has to. The game, it's over. They have the damage. They need Tetcher. It's a tie. The 1-1, 27 minutes on Tomb of the Spider Queen, as we are finally seeing the Russian Circus sealing the deal and forcing the next game on even footing. GG and well played. Alright guys, Sky... we just talked about a potential ban on the Haka, given that it's Sky Templar as our third map, and guess what? The first thing that happens is the Jabronis just shutting down the global mobility on the hero. It is a 1-1 in the series. It's a best of 5, so each one of these teams has to win 2 maps in order to make it into the league for 2017. We had some crazy games happening thus far, and yeah, one of them is going to take the lead again. So I'm excited for this one, not gonna lie. After the last game in particular, this is starting to get intense.
Yep, it is getting very stressful. Both games have been super close, with 1 team fights, 1 objectives from both sides every single time. And we're going to start off with the Jabronis with the ETC pick. They don't have the Dahaka here, so they'll go with the next best thing in terms of potentially global tanks.
Now, the Li Ming ban again. Apparently, the Russian Circus really had a bit of a problem in the first game on Dragonshire dealing with the Li Ming, and they just simply said, okay, if she gets the resets here, if the way that we fight right now leads to deaths on our side, Li Ming can just capitalize on it too much. We don't want to deal with it. You not really see Li Ming banned all this often. The one thing that we have to point out again is, though, that the Jabronis are following the same MO that they did the last few games. They prioritize the ETC very highly when they get him, so we have them taken again, and they this time play a Tracer comp. Tacita, Tracer, and that changes the gameplay a little bit. I was just about to talk about a potential ban on maybe even Leoric if they are afraid that the Jabronis are going to use him again. Keep in mind they played him in nearly every game that we casted of them so far, usually trying to get the Entomb together with a stage dive. But of course, this particular pick on the side of the Jabronis triggers now the Brightwing being banned out, since it's a very common combo to have with Tracer.
Yeah, there are still plenty of other supports that do work with this, but banning out that Brightwing very quickly denies global and denies the hero that combos the best with that Tracer, so it makes a lot of sense.
Mm. And yeah, so we have at the same time now the variant banned out. Did you already talk about this? Sorry, I had to look something up.
I didn't know. I didn't
Okay.
even notice it.
So-
I missed the highlights. So yeah, variant being banned out. It has been played this tournament. We would like to point this out. It's not in the game
Yeah.
we casted, unfortunately.
But right now, variant banned. I mean, you don't see the variant here. I explained it a bit earlier. He's not added to the draft tool that we're using here, or that the teams are using just now. So the blank band that you see there, that's actually representing the new hero, which is variant. And the Jabronis, with a Tracer comp, are just afraid from that point-click stun that you have on level 4 with variant, especially with a potential follow-up on Roots and Storm Bolts that we are seeing with Muradin and Malfurion. So variant can actually be played as a bit of a counter to Tracer in these cases, and if you have a fair amount of lockdown next to him, then stacking these stuns and maybe dropping in a Jaina for the burst damage is just absolutely brutal. So variant banned out for exactly that reason, and the Russian Circus, they pick up Zul, which gives them even more control in these fights, thanks to the Bone Prisoner, of course, and of course damage dealer number 1, it's the Tychus, who, let's face it, wrecked them pretty hard in the last game in a lot of the fights that we saw.
Yep, the Tychus was very, very good. Second, he got that big red button. He was just turning everything around. So in this case, picking him up makes a lot of sense. And of course, he's a tracking hero with he uses that overkill, his Q ability. He can chase down Tracer as long as he doesn't blink too far away.
The Jabronis still need their healer, and then they need to make a decision on their last pick. Now, we have seen a fair... Like, normally we see a second damage dealer with this. You can go for an assassin, a melee assassin, if you want. You need to make sure that you have some damage output there on the board, too. The Rhaegar is taken since the Brightwing is banned out. When it comes to the bot lane, there are heroes who could take this role already, but it's likely that it's actually likely in this setup that we are seeing for Russian Circus a dedicated bot laner outside of Zul. He can be played at the bot lane, but they have played with a lot of triple front lines as well. We've seen that also played during the Chinese tournament that is taking place at the same time, quite a fair bit. So both of the teams still have the opportunity to go for a little bit of outside the box thinking picks, and this is also a map where in the past we've seen, for example, a lot of Zeratul being played.
Yeah, Zeratul get a lot of value. Sometimes we've seen it combined with the Abatha, who's also another hero on this map who can be picked sometimes just due to the global here. But Jabronis, they're running down their time pool. They want to make sure that they have 100% the pick that they feel is the best. So just going through every option in their group together.
For good reason.
Yeah.
This is going to give the lead, and if you actually lose this map, you have to win 2 in a row, and that's just 2 times you just sitting there and worrying about every single pick that you make or that every single hero that you lose. And this is the melee assassin. I just talked about it. Having the melee assassin in there for the damage, so they are going to play a Tracer and Illidan composition with a double support behind it. How is the Russian Circus going to react to it?
I
They
think
need a bit more damage.
if I had to
Sorry?
guess. I think damage Ely, if I had to guess, to try and counteract.
Could be one of the options for sure. Do they have the damage output if they go for it? They have the Tychus. They can play damage Lily, but the focus on a single target, is that really there if they pick the Lily right now?
Potentially, I think potentially, especially if you take the vulnerable on Zul, there are other options, obviously. If you want to do this, they could even run Sylvanas. They could get a good amount of extra damage out of that. The Sylvanas Zul combo would just basically crush any pushing potential that would happen. But plenty of options. With the 2 main damage dealers being auto attacks, the blinds would help them here, but they do in fact go for that Sylvanas. They want that extra damage, like you did say.
Alright, Sylvanas with the silence, of course. That's going to be a big deal for them too. And that, I mean, they have, I guess at this point we're having Hydra going for Zul. We're having Power of Dream again on the Muradin. Sefkaja, of course, going to play. There's Neon, I suppose, will play the Tychus here, and then we're going to have Ice Cream on Sylvanas. So yeah, the silence is definitely going to be a big part of this. Getting a good Wailing Arrow off will be important against this comp. But guys, the stage is set for game number 3. We're going to jump in on Sky Temple to find out which team is going to take the lead in this best of 5 series. Game number 3, everybody. It's the 3rd game. One of these teams is going to take the lead. The best of 5 series in the semi-final. And to the left side, the Jabronis with ETC played again by Mopsio. Digazoi on Tassadar, Make on the Tracer, Kronos on Illidan, and Linked is playing Rhaegar. Double support for this lineup, whereas to the right side we have Sefka on Malfurion again, so Ice Cream on Sylvanas, Power of Dream on Muradin, Neon on the Tychus, and Hydra is playing Zul this time. No Rexa, not this time, but yeah, There's a lot on the line here. There's a lot on this. There's a lot very high stakes for both of these teams, considering, of course, their future in Heroes of the Storm in 2017. Very aggressive setups thus far. ETC waiting a little bit with his level 1 talent, as Illidan is already orientating himself a bit far down to the bot lane here.
Starting off with those level 1 talents, ETC did finally pick it. He goes with that Prog Rock, more sustain for the Illidan and the Tracer. Everything is about that in this scenario. Tracer rounds so that she can chase a little bit further. Backlash on Zul. They do want that burst style, and we see block onto that Muradin. The one talent that isn't really based on the extra burst for the side of Russian Circus, but they should possibly be fine about it if they can continue to get that knockdown.
Oh, Power of Dream, really aggressive up here. Already scouting out, of course, what's happened here. Good Stormbolt against Tracer, hops out, but Mopsio is already trying to slide. There's no Dwarf Toss anymore, but with Sevka being up at the top lane, he can simply go straight for a heal. Such therefore helping out Muradin here, who is now starting to go for the vision. Both of the teams very far forward. We've seen very aggressive starts for both of those. And down to the bot lane, Hydra, he's ready and he's going up against Kronos this time.
Yep, we will see a bit of a duel between those two, quite a fair amount. Right now, the three men in the top lane try to put some pressure onto Mopsio by pushing that up as best as they can. And Zul rotating between bot and mid lane here, getting those skeletons as much value as possible and positioning himself to help with the temple depending on how many people are in mid. With Rhaegar already taking it and Tracer showing herself, he decides, yeah, I'd rather take my chances with Illidan.
Another thing to consider here is that with the setup that is being used for the for the Russian Circus here, they can always decide to let an objective slide and just simply push the lane with Sylvanas and also, of course, then with Zul. They have to be very careful about being flanked by Make and by Tracer and Illidan, but overall they had the opportunity to just play around the objective at least to a certain extent. Power of Dream, waiting for a long time, not wasting any cooldowns here, playing very efficiently. And both of the teams end up with level 4 talents as they're exchanging shots, but there is a bit of a wave that is being missed in the mid lane right now.
Yep, Tychus has pushed that up pretty nicely, so no one from blue team available. Illidan will get at least a couple of them, but not a huge amount. So having a look at level 4 talents as both teams have hit them, and neither team seems to want to fight over any of the remaining shots as they are now taken. Jailers for Zul, setting himself up for that potential vulnerable talent later on to begin that burst. And of course, the second vulnerable being set up for the Sylvanas here with Lost Soul, allowing her to spam out that Shadow Dagger. And once she gets that Cold's Embrace, she's going to be able to spam out the vulnerable onto heroes more often.
Yeah, definitely right. 16 is going to be big for them then, but we have actually Zul really starting to capitalize on the wave clear that he has. It's one of the reasons why the hero is usually picked. We see him, this is one of the main reasons why we have him mostly with the Spider Queen, but lately, as we've said, he's making a bit more of an appearance on other maps as well, and he's just going through all of the maps right now, trying to make sure that they're getting the wave clear in, and he has started to switch his focus a little bit from the bot mid to the top mid, since we will see the next temple activated at the bottom lane, so the rest of his team is starting to focus a little bit more on the bottom half of the map, with the exception of them now going for the Bruiser Camp first of all to get a bit more pressure.
Yes, we have a Bruiser Camp being taken for Russian Circus, whereas the Jabronis taking their easy camp quite early, in fact, way before the objective. But that's good, you don't want to take it on the objective because it's going to be killed off by the enemy team rotating down. Whereas the Russian Circus taking that Bruiser Camp a little bit early, while Illidan takes the Bruiser Camp for the Jabronis.
And this is really one of those moments where the decisions of Zul are going to have a huge impact on how this is going to be played. Since the bot lane, you can let it slide. You can actually just posture around with 4, try to get a few shots in and move back if you have Zul getting a massive value up at the top and maybe pushing through a fort even. It's just a question of how your opponent is reacting, and Sylvanas is already exploiting the fact that heroes at the top lane are currently waiting for something to happen here, so they are going through the first tower, and objectives matter a lot here. Dickozor is super low, and there's the kill against Tassadar, which confirms the first blood for the red team. They're having a lead for Russian Circus as they aggressively push through the bot lane, and they're going to eliminate Fountain.
They're going to try and go for the fort, actually. They're going to keep going with this. ETC, no global yet. He's just way far away to help his team. So it's a 2 versus 4, and there's no way they can defend it. This fort will go down, and that means these shots are going to re-rotate up to the mid lane here. Zul, however, will be going down here. He's going to get like one skeleton. Oh, hang on. Bone Shield present. Bone Shield able to keep him alive for at least a little longer, but Kronos diving the fort pretty easily, able to clear that out. And will now clear the lane thanks to his Immolation level 1 talent.
It's still totally worth it for them, though. They got the entire fort at the bot lane, all of the structures, which of course makes the objective now really worth it. We're having the fight at the bottom of the map starting up in just a little bit. Tracer's trying to get a kill. That would be big. If they can get to Ice Cream, he survives for now, but can he go through the gate? He can't. Counter kill would be great, but Mopsio survives and Power of Dream has to jump back. The kill against Sylvanas changes the game a little bit here for them. They were about to make that play for that bottom temple. They are close to level 10 right now, but we have Jabronis just showing signs of life here. And now to the top lane, Zul is continuing the pressure and will get level 10 for his team.
Yeah, Zul will just summon a load of skeletons up in that lane and push that up. Give the gift of life. Become a necromancer today. Gonna grab the watchtower as well to try and prevent this kind of ganks that he suffered a little bit earlier on. And just in time for level 10 to be hit by both teams. We do see the Skeletal Mages and the Dragon Laser Drill. Not going to see the Odin this time, so we're not going to see those big red button combos at level 20. Stage dive for the ETC, and it is Metamorphosis for Illidan. Expected, but no hunt sad times.
Fights. Okay, they are just disengaging. Tetcher, I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you, hopefully.
Is there any doubt in your mind that this game is going to be decided over a fight at the boss?
Yes. There is no... It's going to happen. We know it's going to happen because that's how all of these go with these two teams. They're so evenly matched.
Yeah, at this point, I'm really just waiting for that big, full-on brawl that happens between the two teams over the boss where they are trying to make their plays. I can totally see that happen again, and I'm already afraid of it happening. It can turn the tides of the battle, and eventually we're going to see it happen. You guys know what I'm talking about. We have seen that several times today already. But for now, it's still even experience, like absolutely on point. Top lane Power of Dream was actually putting in some pressure and attempted stun against Kronos on his Illidan. That didn't really happen. They couldn't lock him down anyway. Sefkaja was not in range for a root there. But both of the teams are making their plays. And one thing that I really want to point out again is the structural advantage that we already see for the red team, for the Russian Circus. It's really one of the big advantages that they have in this setup.
Have we pointed out the Mule instead of Cleanse on the Malfurion yet?
No, not yet, but ETC dives in and robs us of that opportunity for a moment. But that's actually something that they expected, and there's the kill. The question is the cleanup crew on the side of the opponent able to take them down? Because Sefkaja is dead, and that's the healer gone already. There comes the immediate metamorphosis on the side of Illidan. But the jailers, the bone prison still hits, and they can't chase deep enough.
Yeah, they were able to get out of that quite well, considering how good that stage dive was, and able to turn that into making it a 1-for-1 as opposed to a potential full team wipe with the great Twilight Dream. But yeah, no cleanse here. When they're up against ETC, is pretty much the only crowd control, so all they have to do is to avoid him as much as possible, and the cleanse isn't 100% necessary. So we do see Sevka making that sacrifice. He's like, well guys, learn to dodge power slide please, I need to repair these buildings.
This is a fight for the mid-temple. There's no split. There's no split happening. They're fighting here. They're going for it. We have a couple of the heroics up again, and one of them is the drill. So no Odin, drill on the ground can really work with these positional fights that we have. The two of the forts are already down, and at the bot lane, a camp is pushing that Illidan has been taking a little bit earlier. So that Siege Giant camp can get solid value here. The fight is still starting. Power of Dream, very careful, needs to drop his avatar, or does he? He should! And there it is, turning it around, trying to go for the kill, and they get it! They drop Tracer! They're able to lock her down and obliterate her, and the chase is on as Tassadar seems to be target number 2. But Power of Dream has been pushed back by ETC. The temples, on the other hand, are still up for grabs. And as long as they take down those Siege Giants at the bot lane, they should come out of this ahead.
Yeah, they're actually going to leave the Siege Giants due to the so many minions being there. They can at least weaken them enough for the newly rotating heroes to do it. So Power of Dream is using this time as quick as possible to start taking this temple. Mopsio is in position to try and raid it. He is spotted though, but he's trying to escape here. Takes a little bit of damage. Sylvanas with the potential to chase, as due to no cleanse on that Malfurion, she took Will of the Forsaken.
13 versus 13 in talents, and yes, you're right, Will of the Forsaken is going to be big for her. It's going to be a really important one. Talking about important, we have again Metamorphosis and Stage Dive being used, but Illidan was already in trouble. Great Wailing Arrow being used here, and the silence on the side of Malfurion. Job well done, but not resulting in a kill for them, so they couldn't capitalize on it with damage, and the temple is still up here, of course.
Zul forcing that ancestral healing onto ETC there. Thanks to the fact of his level 13, the Giant's Curse. He was able to do 2% with each one of his swings with his W talent here. But now they're focusing onto Illidan. He is rooted No Metamorphosis this time, it was on cooldown, and as such he is picked off. Still temple shots remaining, but they're just going to use the time to clear up the minion wave.
And are they making the play for boss?
Oh, they might do. No, they're not.
I like it. I really like it. Knowing Russian Circus, I really saw them moving towards boss as soon as they killed it, and it was just like, oh my god, are you risking it? But they're not. They're playing it smart here, and I like that a lot for them. They have currently 4 kills against 3. It's still a very close game, but the big advantage that we have is, of course, that we still see a fort at the bot lane. And you pointed out the mule a little bit earlier, and we are seeing that getting solid value now on the side of the Russian Circus. Saving this fort is big. That's going to soak up a lot of potential shots, or it's at least going to waste time as the Jabronis will have to attack it manually. But overall, a level lead for the Russian Circus, and they are starting to attack the keeps, which is of course a pretty big deal once that we're seeing temples activate again on the map.
The Jabronis, though, trying to burn out that mule. The mule has run out of duration now, so they're trying to get the fort anyway, but the time that brought means that we are going to see the Jabronis stay a little bit longer than they would have otherwise intended, so there is a chance for Muradin to maybe move them to the top and try and get them a kill. Like this here too, but a stage dive is going to be the Jabronis who try to make the engagement. These skeletal mages drop very far forward here. Sylvanas with one of the Forsaken escapes.
Nice ice block on Sefka share. The double kill, the triple kill, the quad! They take everyone down. It's an entire team wipe. They dodge the stage dive. They get the kills right away. Sefka saves himself with the ice block. It was exactly what he needed there. We saw Sylvanas with the Will of the Forsaken just jumping back out, not dying either. It's an entire team wipe, and the Russian Circus, they go for the boss immediately. They have a camp pushing the top lane. The boss is going to go through the bottom, and we have Sylvanas to push with it. Great play here, and an incredibly important victory at this point for the Russian Circus in this game.
The Russian Circus making themselves the ringmasters right now, putting themselves in control of this game with a boss, with some siege giants, and they have 2 temples on the map that they can take control of. They're just going to let bot push itself and use that distraction to grab the temples.
Yeah, they're going up to the top temples right now. They grab the vision, they set everything up. They have level 16, nearly 17. The talent is there. It's ready. We have, as expected, the Cold Embrace capitalizing, synergizing with the level 4 talent, the Lost Soul, getting that extra vulnerability in to drop a Tracer, drop an Illidan whenever they have to. Boss at the bot lane nearly defeated, defended against, but there's still Siege Giant camp. Illidan has to stay a bit longer. The first temple is already taken, and they decide to just take only one of them. They let ETC move to the top. There's a lot of shots already taken, so they say we don't need all of the shots on both of them. We can complete one and then fight for the other. We have the talent, just don't die right now. Played as 5, make sure that we don't fall. We have a massive lead in structures. We can sacrifice a fort for this.
Yeah, and it is exactly why you said here, we are seeing Russian Circus playing on one temple, because they know the one way that the Jabronis can get themselves back into this game is if they catch someone out. So if they stay together, then that's not going to happen. And now we see Russian Circus roaming as 5, a little bit split up, but still roaming as 5 up to the top lane. Power Dream trying to get focused by Maka, who does have that extra 10% damage on his grenade and has the cooldown up. Here comes the Metamorphosis very early, getting focused down by Neos. Skeletal Mage is dropped in a good zoning position here, but now the fight is being forced away from it. Wailing Arrow hits nothing.
Wailing Arrow doesn't hit anything, but they're still chasing, and they're chasing hard. Maka gets locked down by the Bone Prism. Whoa! Nearly the kill against Tracer. So close, they're all on the run. 16 versus 16, and the temple is still up there moving for it, and there's talents that have been saved. We still have the drill. We still have also Malfurion with his ult. They don't drop a keep yet, but they are all so low, and there is no mule on the side of the Jabronis. Mule only for the opponent, only for the Russian Circus. The Jabronis find themselves in a bit of trouble here. They need to be super careful. They need to start winning fights here. So far, the combo of the Russian Circus is really countering what we're seeing with the aggressive Tracer Illidan composition.
Mule dropped right now onto that mid 4. It had barely any damage on it, but it's all going to be repaired up. And that means even more shots needed for the Jabronis to bring themselves back in. They really have to make the most of their own pushing. Their heroes are basically the only way they're going to take down the majority of structures, because they're losing team fights. So they need to be able to get pushing done somehow. But how, with the amount of team fight that Russian Circus is showing?
At this point, the Russian Circus is very happy to just wait for experience to drop into their hands, since they know they will be the first team to hit 20 if this continues. So they're trying to defend. They're not trying to be aggressive here right now. The fights have been going very well for them. 9 kills against 3. But they are saying, guys, all we have to do is wait for 20. We have the edge. Wait for the next objective. If we can fight over an objective with a talent advantage, we are very likely to make it. And the pressure is on the opponent. That's what we're seeing here. They are starting to go straight into the middle, trying to pressure this. They saw Zul at the top lane, of course. And Hydra is already on his mount, just waiting for the moment to move back into the middle, since they expect the stage dive of ATC to be used.
Yeah, we will see Mugger grab that watchtower, just gaining some extra vision. Mule once again dropped onto mid, keeping it alive. Every fort matters on this map, and we are seeing that from Sevkar. Just such a good choice when ETC is the only CC.
And we have Hydra moving just from the top straight to the bottom. He's just saying, like, wave after wave, I'm gonna take this one after another. Camp is taken. This is a potential fight here. Once more, Linked is ready. They're all there, but Zul is moving in as well. It's a close quarter fight. I'm not quite sure if you really want to take this right now. If you're the Jabronis, they let the camp go, but we have a single temple activating up at the top lane. The question is, how much experience can you get with those few waves here? There's only one more. Zul had the chance to take another one in the bot lane, decided against it. This is not enough for 20. This is a 16 versus 16 talent fight, ladies and gentlemen. Sevkar are blocking the ult with the ice block. They're going for it once again. The drill is already on the ground, but Neon is in trouble, and so is Sevkar. Both of them extremely low. Mopsio is about to fall. He dies. The 20s are in play, but is that enough, Tetcher?
So Ice Cream trying to do some damage. He bolts away with his level 20 that he just got. Power of Dream trying to decimate the backline. Hydra gets focused down. Minus 2 damage. Gets healed from Sevkar, though. He's still alive. Illidan finally getting that kill. Now it's Power of Dream who's turning it around. He is full on health right now. So Ice Cream getting healed up from Sevkar as well. And even though we see a 4 versus 3 right now, we see Russian Circus at least repel Jabronis from pushing any further. But now we're going to see the Temple going over.
Temple goes over to the Jabronis. The Russian Circus again in a bit of a problem here. They lose the fort in the mid lane. They are still in the lead when it comes to the overall position on the map, but losing that battle was a problem, because now we are seeing Jabronis catching up in experience and doing very well with this. They need a 5 versus 5 again, not getting that level 20 talent before the fight started. It was a close call, by the way. ETC jumping in when there was only a sliver of experience missing, but it worked out in the end for the Jabronis. They got the kills they needed. They get the temple, and now they are in a position where they themselves start to put pressure onto one of the keeps. But of course, the mule is still key here.
Yeah, the mule is on cooldown for the moment, 17 seconds, as it was used in the bot lane to heal up the damage that Siege Giant got. That Illidan was able to take earlier, but now the boss has been started by the Jabronis. If they get it, they can put some good pressure onto this bot lane, but here comes Russian Circus. Mopsio positioned very well to try and delay this. There's the false wall, but Power of Dream, he just walks in.
He just jumps on it. They're fighting. This silence is going to be there in just a second. The skeleton mages are already on the ground. The first silence is in there, going for the fight. EDC is down. He's dead. The damage output of Neon is insane.
Death Metal from ETC, buying time, they take down Neon. Krona's still alive, he finally gets taken out, but so is Hydra by the grenade from Tracer, but it's 3 versus 3, but Linked is so low. But Maka takes down the Sylvanas, takes down Sevkar. Linked on the run, he will maybe escape if he doesn't walk back into Power of Dream like this. Get out of there, Linked. There's the stun, there's the jump. Linked getting shielded, he will get out. The boss was taken though by Russian Circus. They lost almost everything, but they stopped their bot lane from losing the keep.
2 versus 4, and the bot lane being assailed by the boss right now. So they are starting to lose that keep. No temple activated or announced just yet. That's going to happen very soon though, but this keep is definitely going to fall. They couldn't capitalize on the fact that they killed 4 heroes just now. Tracer just cleaning house in that engagement. It looked great for the Russian Circus, but then Maka just completely turned around. Digazoi staying alive on his Tacita and shielding him the entire time with the Legion Plasma helped, of course, a lot. Double temple on the board, and both of the teams will be back with 5 heroes once that thing is activated. 1 keep down, the second keep nearly fallen. The situation for the Jabronis is getting tenser and more intense by the moment.
I will say, shout out to the clutch death metal pick on that boss fight, because ETC was like, well, Muradin's here and we can't kill him. I guess I'll just make it easy to kill everyone else, because everyone was dropping off that shrine. So we picked that in perfect timing to guarantee at least the fight was won, even though they did lose the boss because ETC died on the point.
You're totally right. I mean, that was the key talent here to take. Okay, keep in the mid lane. It's going to be attacked any second. Here comes the fight. ETC is jumping in. This is the battle. This is the fight. This is the one moment. The drill is on the ground already. Sefka has to be careful. Not using his ult just yet. Their heal is through. Ancestral is out. They're moving back. Good damage. This is great for the Russian Circus. Look how completely isolated Illidan is.
Here, Cronus. The root misses. He gets out with the friend or foe. He is getting away from this now. And we see Power of Dream getting focused down, but he's pushing through. It's just wading through all the damage.
We still have two heroic abilities, big ones saved on the side of the Russian Circus. Metamorphosis hasn't been used either though. Top lane about to pressure in against the keep at the bot lane. This is where the fight now happens. Mule is already on the ground. Twilight Dream hasn't been used yet. Can Sefka capitalize on that? Can they use it? In comes Mopsio. They need to be careful. They need to remember his 20. Sefka gets low, so does Hydra. They're once again starting to take the fight to Illidan. He's jumping in with the Metamorphosis. Sefka waiting for the ult, using it. There's the silence. But they cannot kill anybody with it.
Naka was in the backline doing some damage. Hydra getting focused down. That's the first kill in this fight. And the Forceful prevents the escape of Neon. But Mopsio can't chase any further. Oh, Crota's very nearly getting pulled in there. And the Mule not able to save the bot lane. The Mercat pushing in too far. It delays it. It buys time. But that Mercat wasn't going to go any further.
Like, what are these games? 22 kills here once again, and we're seeing them make a play for the top now. But again, it's all about the stage dive. Stage dive, and more stage dive. They're letting this go. ETC is putting in the pressure. 13 seconds. Kronos is there. He knows that they might go for the camp. He's waiting. ETC, is he gonna jump in? Not so far just yet, but there is another temple on the map. The temple shouldn't take down a keep, but it's going to damage it for sure.
Yeah, Mule also positioned to repair the damage that temple does, but the shots are going onto mid, like you did say earlier. Bruisercap getting cleared up by Kronos with his immolation and just the insane damage output that he does have right now. Once again, Russian Circus delaying this game as long as possible, putting themselves in a good position right now, moving into the mid lane. ETC is already positioned, but that keep is super low. If they can take it down, it would be good, but Mopsio is positioned here, so if he's going to stage dive, it's going to be here while they're running away.
Yeah, Hydra is with the team though. It's a 5 versus 5 once again in the back line. Yep, hello Illidan. Nice Moonfire. They go for him. Don't use any ults just yet. ETC with the stage dive. Power Dream jumps away. The drill is on the ground. This is the fight that matters. This could decide everything. Who wins it? Hydra is solo. Hydra again isolated and dead. Kronos jumped out. Iceblock and Malfurion. They go for Mopsio and they secure the kill. The silence is in, but Malfurion is dead. A 2-for-1 heal on Illidan with the Ancestral. 3 heroes still in the battle. The drill is on the ground and is trying to drop Mucke, but they are chasing. The potential for Illidan is so huge. Tracer is dead though. Tracer is down, but we see a kill against Sylvanas. This game is getting crazy. Linked wants to jump, and Neon is just simply dancing away.
Oh my god, Kronos is going to try and end the game here. It's Tychus and Muradin to try and defend this. They're going to clear, Muradin's going to clear up the catapults while Neon begins to burn down Illidan. In comes Tassadar to try and shield him. Kronos is getting shredded. There's the Storm Shield. Link's coming in for the extra heal as well. They're sustaining through this Khaldor.
They're sustaining through it for now, but Link is about to fall. Link is down, the core on the other hand is falling too. Illidan is just doing Illidan things.
That's enough.
He's not getting stopped. The catapult, it's too much. The Jabronis catapults on the core of the opponent, but the Jabronis, they win it, Tetcher. It's a 2-1 for them after they were so far behind. What is this series? Okay guys, it's game number 4, so at this point we are going to double check how this is actually going to work out. The Jabronis are going up against the Russian Circus once again, and the Haka is banned out right away. The map is cursed hollow, and we've seen insane games this far, so let's see how exactly this is going to work out for the Jabronis. Are they going to confirm the 3-1 victory, or are we going to see a tie again in the 5th map coming up?
Well, bans happening very, very quickly here. Dahaka removed. It's a big map, makes a lot of sense. No ETC ban, it's a Tassadar ban, is to remove that potential Tracer and Tracer or Illidan. But, like we said, ETC goes over. Let's see if the theme continues.
To me, it's... I mean, I understand that they're actually banning out the Tassadar so that they are not dealing with the Tracer anymore, but that ETC is giving them a lot of trouble in the last few games. I guess I would actually like them to at least ban out Leoric, because I don't think they have to be afraid of... I would take these comfort picks away. Every single time that we've seen the Jabronis play, they are focusing on ETC, and they're usually trying to combo off the Leoric with it. So they must know that right now. And of course, on a map like Cursed Hollow, there's a ton of heroes that you would like to ban out. I mean, we're talking Global Presence, Falstad, and others as well. We're talking about Tyrael here, for example. But overall, Jabronis, they just... I feel like they always have this core draft that they are trying to go for, and then they adapt to the rest of the opponent's setup.
Yeah, I would agree. But this time, for I believe one of the first times, Li Ming has been let through by the Russian Circus, and she is picked up by the Jabronis as their second pick. And is that a variant? That's a variant!
Variant banding. No, variant picked.
No, picked!
Variant is actually picked this time. So guys, again, we talked about this a bit earlier. We have no picture in this third-party tool that is being used for the draft for Varian. So the pick that you see, the second pick for the Jabronis, it is Varian. Stun into stun. We're going to continue with the bans here, but you're going to see that in a moment that there's a little bit of a gap in there. And that is actually the Varian pick that has just been made by the Jabronis. So we have the engagement with a level 4 talent on his side, followed up potentially then with the ETC.
It is time. It's time. We've been waiting all day for it. In fact, all 2 days for it. We went yesterday as well. But we finally get to see it, Khaldor. Now, how will Russian Circus respond to this? They're still waiting on their ban for the moment, trying to work out what to get rid of, what combos with this variant.
I mean, there's a couple of heroes that you really want to get rid of in such a situation, and usually you would think about banning Jaina, but right now there's already Li Ming on the board for the Jabronis, and traditionally speaking, teams try to avoid two mage heroes, because they are just so cooldown based that you are more likely to go into one mage and sustain auto attack damage dealer that might have a bit of ability power as well, but has a bit of a different focus in the way that he dishes out the damage. So they are going for an Abathur ban here instead. They don't want to deal with Variant plus Abathur, which I can totally understand too. The extra attack speed and everything that he has to offer here, also like the shields, it's just like too good. But this is going to change the pace of the game a lot. Like, that Varian is changing everything right now.
Alright, and we see a respond with the Vikings. The Abathur could have been a good split soak counter to the... the Vikings could have been a bit split soak for Russian Circus here, which is a good reason why the Abathur was banned as well. Because if Abathur had been taken by the Jabronis while Russian Circus took the Vikings, they would have got themselves... the Russian Circus would have got themselves very far ahead here. So both teams denying a lot of that global. Right now, the only potentially global hero in the game is that ETC.
Yep. And against the tanks, we have the Tigers now. So, the setup that we are having, we've been talking a little bit about like this base setup on the side of the Jabronis, but Russian Circus is basically doing the same thing. They really love to play around the Malfurion here. Whenever they can, they pick him. They have also that high priority on Muradin for Power of Dream. And Neon has been and the battle for Tigers has been going on between the two of them. So they have their core draft ready again, but now they have to also like cater a little bit towards that Varian. And one of the things, of course, that can really destroy Varian are stuns. You're trying to disable him for as long as you can.
Yeah, he doesn't have any kind of relentless or anything like that. He does have to tank through. He has different ways of absorbing damage. He has his second wind for his attack speed healing. He has his victory rush for killing off minions and getting that big burst heal. And I don't know the name of the talent, but the talent that allows him to just absorb all damage, including ability damage. So he's very good at absorbing the damage, but CC is something he can struggle with quite a lot.
Yeah, the problem with the ability damage talent is that it actually collides with the stun, and that's one of the biggest assets for him. So normally you don't see that. But guys, there you see the gap in the draft. As explained before, it's like a placeholder for the new hero. So they combo it off with a Brightwing. And the Tyrael I actually like that for the panic button as well. I really think that's a good choice here for them. Having the Sanctification on the ground overall on this map is amazing. Holy Ground later on is too. But against Varian in particular, I feel having that option is really important. So I totally agree on that. So Jabronis here with their last pick. A bit more range damage would probably be nice for them. Falstad is still around. We could see the Vala here. I'm still thinking if they might actually drop another melee assassin type in there, but against the Tyrael with the Sanctification, I think it's really unlikely.
there is the potential that Varian is melee assassin. We do need to remind about that, and that makes it potentially even more likely the Zarya coming in here. Remember, Varian is a multi-class hero, potentially as the tank with the taunt talent, or an assassin, which could be burst if you go for the Colossus Strike, or the attack speed, which is the Fury talent, where you can make him into a melee assassin.
I mean, usually we see really him going for a Colossus Blade, but overall I feel that having the extra attack speed with the Twin Blades, if you don't have a lot of stuns against you, is crazy because it gives you so much sustain, especially if you can combo it off with any kind of additional, let's say, Abathur or also the Tacita here. So that's a huge asset to have there. And if you can sustain through the fights, because the attack speed, if you go for the second wind as your level 7 talent, really allows you a huge amount of survivability if you're not getting disabled or stunned. So there's definitely choices for them how they are trying to approach this. We have Khaldor now chosen as the last one. He gets usually a quite fair amount of damage in with the corruption here. The one thing that I am worried about right now is that Neon on Khaldor is playing it as aggressive as he did on Tomb of the Spider Queen. If he does that, I think he is going to get wrecked in every team fight, because Varian is going to look for him. And when he gets the charge, when he gets the stun, and the rest of the team follows up, then Khaldor is going to be a dead orc. So right now, I feel he needs to stay in the back, behind Muradin, behind Tyrael, and really make sure that he gets that poke in. Be it as it may, guys, we go into game number 4. It could be the last game in this best of 5 series. Jabronis up against the Russian Circus, so let's jump right into the game. Be even. Tyrael right now for the Russian Circus, played by Hydra. So Ice Cream on Falstad again, Neon on Tychus, Power of Dream on Muradin, and we're having Sevka on Malfurion. With through the right side, the Jabroni starting with Mopsio on ETC once more, Dickazoy on Liming, linked on Brightwing, Kronos is playing the Varian, and Make is currently on Zarya, going to try and provide a few shields for especially, or of course, Varian himself.
Yeah, and Varian starting off with the High King's Quest, the maximum damage talent here. So there's a fairly likelihood here that he's probably going to end up picking the second wind or the Live by the Sword as opposed to the Victory Rush. Although you can still go Victory Rush here, but with Victory Rush you can sometimes see the Q build, the Q talent on level 1, so that you can kill the minions even quicker, and as such build that Victory Rush cooldown so you can get it as quick as possible.
Yeah, Kronos is currently up against Hydra at the top lane with his Varian, so already rocking the skin. I like that quite a bit. We're having in the mid lane Falstad, which gives him the opportunity to fly to any lane if they can potentially get a kill there. It's the bot lane where we currently have a 3 versus 3, but of course the talent that you just pointed out, the High King's Quest, is not the only stacking talent that we are seeing. You have again the focus on Seasoned Marksman with Falstad, and Zarya is also adding into the Demolitionist Expert, focusing heavily on the particle grenades.
Zarya is stacking very quickly though, far quicker than anyone else in this game, doing an insane job of hitting those grenades so far and keeping the harassment up. This lane is pushing super aggressively from the Jabronis here, keeping the pressure on. Whereas ETC currently just chilling in the mid lane. He's already pushed back Sir Ice Cream quite a bit, forcing him to Fountain, and Mopsio just showing his dominance in lane for the moment.
Mopsio is doing a good job against Falstad, but if worse comes to worse, he can just simply fly back and fly back in. So keep in mind that at 2 minutes, well, we are seeing a playmate for Zarya, but no Stormbolt available. Power 3. 2 minutes in, the camps are going to spawn, and then we are going to see teams starting to go for the Siege Giants to get a bit of a lead once that the first tribute spawns, but Sevka is most likely going to head back at some point to get some mana, I suppose. So far, not making that move.
So far, in terms of the High King's Quest talent, 24 out of 50 on the hero's attack part of it. For those who don't know, there are 3 parts to this quest, probably the most difficult quest talent in the game outside of Taste for Blood. But this one is basically you have to attack 50 heroes with auto attacks. Right now, Zarya getting focused down here. She is rooted, power 3, potentially to body block. Falstad coming in, and they will get that kill.
That's the kill.
Sorry, go on.
No, you were talking about the talent, I believe.
Yeah, so the second part of the talent is the 5 takedowns, which so far he hasn't taken part in. That kill was against his own team and without him having anything to do with it. And the last part, you have to collect 20 globes. Also, this next talent, the Warbringer, probably one of the best talents in the game, reducing the cooldown of his charge and making it stun, which is a beast.
Yeah, the charge here, this is really the one talent that sets him apart from the crowd. Having that point-click stun is absolutely amazing. Thanks to the kill that was gotten at the bot lane, they didn't even have to go for the Siege Giants, so they didn't really have the time to make anything happen there. It's slightly an experience that they have for themselves now, but this is where the team fights start, and what we expect to see is really stuns into stuns. Varian leading, and then Mopsio following it up with a power slide. And so far, it's actually working out in favor of the blue team. We're seeing the Russian Circus making decent plays here. Brightwing jumped in, a potential kill. Digazor is down, and there's a lot of damage gone, but a counter kill against Hydra is very likely. It happens. Mopsio is paying with his life right though.
Yeah, Hydra on the material though, exploding, doing a huge amount of damage, and that is going to give this tribute over to Russian Circus. Like, can delay for a little bit longer. No, he can't. Not reacting in time there. And as such, the tribute is picked up by Falstad and Russian Circus, making it 3 kills to 1 and 1 tribute to 0.
Yeah, and Falstad, of course, can go straight into the mid lane or bot lane again. He flies down to the bottom. He has also 9 stacks on his season marksman. Those kills against the heroes help, of course, a lot. And he was involved in every single one of them thus far, participating in all 3 takedowns here. We have, in terms of talents, also now Give Me 20 taken. So a lot of quest talents for Zarya in particular here, as we have Varian joining up with the rest of the team up to the top again. And also, we have an adjustment on Falstad on level 7 going into the charge up, which I have actually not really seen in this particular setup. That's a hybrid build that is very new.
Yeah, we've spoken about it before. We spoke about it before, but only in the terms of how little it is picked outside of a pure lightning rod build. But this is an adjustment based on Varian. They want to focus him down. I would also like to point out, with the build Varian's going for, the attack speed is potential. He's getting focused down here, but he has gone for the second wind here. Like I said, not going for that victory rush. He wants to sustain, but the attack speed gets the most value out of that talent.
I love the talent. Going into the second wind, it's insane how much sustain he has if you leave him alone. And if we've been saying one thing about the Russian Circus is that they actually lack a bit of focus in a lot of these fights. And if they don't focus Varian down properly, they are going to lose in the end a lot of ground here. But for now, they are dominating. They get another kill against Zarya, and they will get another tribute. But it can be very, very dangerous to go up against this. So that's something that we have to keep an eye on later on in the game. And it also could influence the level 10 talent choice.
Yeah, we will have to keep an eye on those talent choices once we hit those heroics. But like we said, a big blow up onto Zarya basically turns the fight very quickly. Zarya is trying to poke, but with the hard engages we're seeing out of Russian Circus, it's becoming very difficult for her to stay at range. Good stun on Sir Ice Cream, the stun into stun. Working out, there's the second part, the second stun in that sentence, and they're able to pick up the kill with that Calamity from Li Ming.
And that's exactly what they are trying to do throughout the game right now. So that's the first kill that they got with this, and yeah, they have to be a bit more careful than that. They cannot really move out if they're not aware where exactly Varian is, or at least ETC for that matter, up to the point where he can pick up the stage dive if he does so. But right now, they are in a bit of trouble. Also, we have, of course, the cleanse pick by Malfurion. In the last game, it was more of a focus on the mule. Now we have cleanse on both sides. Pretty standard talents for most of the heroes so far, except for the ones that we pointed out, with Falstad going for the extra range here. And yeah, the next tribute is going to be a very important one, especially since we have the earlier level 10 for the Russian Circus, so it's a potential early curse against the Jabronis.
Yeah, there is that level 10 Li Ming and Varian. Going to attempt to either get a kill or at least clear up some minions as quick as possible, but Krona's getting focused down. He's gusted into the wall, he's cleansed, but it doesn't matter. He's body blocked out by Power of Dream. That's going to be another kill going over to the Russian Circus as they begin to move in to grab this tribute. Hydra in a great position to zone. And Varian, while he's dead, he's not stacking. He's only halfway through his globes and just under halfway through his takedown part of his build here. And it is Colossus Smash.
Was very well done, by the way, on the side of Falstad, gusting into that corner. It was really important here. Colossus Smash has been taken, and we've been talking about it. The Twin Blades are very, very strong, but at the same time, Colossus Smash is still very good if you just want to burst the target down. That's one of the things that is going to happen here as well. And it's also the more popular talent these days. We have also the Expulsion Zone taken, but the curse that happens against the red team is giving a lot of value to these heroes. Falstad is still on the way up to the top. We have the lane at the bot pushed in very hard, but over here we have a bit of a problem for maybe Muradin. The stun is there against Kronas, against Varian, but they could turn this around. The drill on the ground, since we see Falstad coming in with a mighty gust, and immediately ETC reacting with a stage dive, but it's already too late for Brightwing.
Yeah, we did see the Expulsion Zone go down, but it was onto the Sanctification there, so we got no value. There's the stun onto Li Ming. Varian down to Mopsio, chased down by Sir Ice Cream, and that's a 4-0 in favor of Russian Circus.
That was actually crazy. When he dropped the drill, I was just like, what in God's name is he doing right now? That's a total waste of an ult, and that's the moment when you see Falstad appearing from the top lane. It's like, oh my god, he's gonna gust them back in again. And that's exactly what he did. They get 4 kills out of this. That was great play. They see an opportunity and they jump on it. That was so well done. Getting 4 kills. That's so many stacks on False alone. That's also, of course, gonna make sure that they get 2 bosses if they want them. Russian Circus is playing a way more coordinated game than they played in any of these games in this series so far.
Yeah, these roaming kills is what has put them on the map in the past, and it's what they're doing so well in this game. So they're beginning to move into even steal this easy camp. They want the Siege Giants and that boss to try and make a play onto bottom keep. ETC is top lane for the Jabronis, so we could try and stage dive in here to help out his team with the defense, which he may have to do here as the Siege Giants have been taken and the boss has arrived.
Bosses there, Siege Giants, the timing is perfect, and they should get it. Let's see if it works out. Cleanse on Varian already. Varian is in trouble in a lot of it. He's dead, actually. Explosion Zone not even saving him. ETC will not jump down. They know that they cannot save the keep. The keep is gone. The boss on half health. It looks very much like they're going to go for core here. The drill is on the ground, and that's the time for ETC to jump in. There's the sanctification on the ground, maybe a bit early, but we have them just bursting everything down. Tetcher, they are going to take this.
They're going to take that very quickly. 9-minute game by Core, and that brings it to a 2-2, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to a game number 5 in this best of 5 series.
It comes down to the last map. Infernal Shrines is the map, everybody. We have Jabronis versus the Russian Circus. Obviously, this is the last map for both of these teams. Who's going to play in the league in 2017 and who will drop out of the tournament right now? And yeah, so everything is on the line for the last and final map, Infernal Shrines. The first pick by the Russian Circus. Malfurion against them banned out this time. They prioritized him very highly. We have Malfurion banned out, which allows now at least the Tigers to be taken. The Jabronis still have access to the ETC that they prioritized over everything else during the entire draft games that we had so far. And the Russian Circus, the one thing that they were worried about is a huge snowball thanks to Sylvanas. Tetcher, this game the series alone is insane.
Yeah, it's just been absolutely crazy. Although last game, the ETC curse was broken. It's had up to that game been that every time the Jabronis had got ETC, they had won. But last game, weren't able to do it. This time, they still pick him up again. Mopsio, very happy on that hero. Still a very solid hero in general. And they also pick up the Zarya. They had it last game as well. Once again, weren't able to win that game. Are they going for another variant pick with just in a different order?
You're forgetting a very important thing. Who won the last game?
Russian Circus did.
Where were they on the map?
Are we going by sides?
Every single game that we've seen so far in this series was won by the team that started to the left. The ETC curse is broken, you're right, but that still holds true.
Yeah,
and
Mopsio
this time,
on the left this time.
The Jabronis actually host the game. So they are currently on the left of the map. That's a bad omen for the Russian Circus. But yeah, we have, as you said, Zarya taken together with the ETC. Personally, I don't really think that they're going to play another variant here. I don't really think this is the best map for him. But we have Russian Circus already preparing for the chance. They have the Sanctification on the ground again. Apparently, playing Hydra on that again. I'm just waiting for Gul'dan to be dropped, for a Kel'Thas maybe even. Oh, well,
there it
Gul'dan.
is.
Okay.
Yep, Gul'dan's super strong on this map, can just get so much value on those little demons that you get on the shrines. To get those punishers, the Jabronis now need to make a choice. No supports have been picked up in this game yet, so preferably not going to ban one of those, but they do have first pick after the ban phase, and maybe banning one out wouldn't be such a bad idea.
One hero that we're not going to see banned or picked in this situation right now, I feel, is Falstad. At least not by Jabronis, because we have already 2 damage dealers for the Russian Circus, and with both Neon and also, of course, so Ice Cream having heroes for themselves locked down there, Falstad is not going to be an option anymore. Triple backline is also incredibly rare in competitive play. But it's interesting that they let that go. So they have now the chance of banning it out if they're worried about the Jabronis playing it. But so far there haven't been any games where the Jabronis have actually focused that. I think they are probably going to try and look to see if what kind of melee assassin can give them trouble, because it's something that the Jabronis have been like fitting into the drafts whenever they could. So a ban could definitely either target support, as you said, or any kind of these additional melee heroes. And they go for the Zul here. They don't want to deal with that wave clear. Personally, I was more thinking about them maybe picking it up, but they're right to ban it out, I feel, since that would add an enormous amount of wave clear. And he is strong on this map for rotations, of course.
Yeah, Zul very, very strong on this map indeed. The Jabronis, now considering their next pick, once again, no supports have been picked up, and they currently, other than Zarya with her potential poke, don't have any ranged damage. So we will keep an eye on this, see what they can pick up. Last time, this was the comp that they ran Varian with. If they're going to run him again, might be worth leaving him till last. The Russian Circus have not shown any interest in picking it. We're going to start with the Ariel here, getting first pick on that because there's not a huge amount left.
I don't really... The thing is, one of the reasons why I don't think that Varian would be great here for them is that it doesn't cater to their objective at all. It's a very team fight-oriented pick where you're trying to get kills, and with Russian Circus already starting to focus with the Gul'dan on a bit more wave clear, I'm really not sure if they would give them what they need, especially since that Sanctification on the Tyrael alone can already shut it down. So... we'll see. For now, it's more about the range damage. We have Li Ming and Vala still around. There is some wave clear for the Jabronis, but nothing that really compares with what the Russian Circus already has. So I think they need to go for some of that range damage now, first of all.
Yep, that would be nice. They could even, if they didn't want to go for Li Ming or Vala, Kael'thas or Jaina are still okay. They could combo quite well with ETC. We see the melee. It is the Thrall coming in here to combo with that... combo with the Zarya here so they can get the extra shields and get value out of those shields.
I like the Thrall a lot. I really thought that he might even be banned out by Russian Circus since he's just so strong and on point, and Thrall is definitely great for them. The Russian Circus have a lot of poke, and they need to be really careful if that entire hit point heavy setup that Jabronis is drafting right now is pushing into them. There's a lot of presence that you have on the shrines then as well when they spawn. That Earthquake alone is great. And this is one of the moments when you can actually even play with a false step, but they already have made their choices regarding the backline damage. So they go instead into the Arthurs. Arthurs on this map is more often played than on any other, I would say, maybe with the exception of Tomb of the Spider Queen, where we have seen him. But overall, the presence that you establish on a shrine can be absolutely great, and I really feel it's a decent choice for them to be made here. Going also in terms of healing now that we have Oriel taken away and Malfurion banned out into another of Sefkar's comfort picks with the Charism here.
Yeah, and the Charism can work well for them. They can either go for the Palm, which we've seen them run both the Palm with damage Charism build and the heal build with the 7-sided strike. They appear to have just the two different sides there, where whichever build you go for, the ultimate you go for is the opposite. And Jabronis, with their range, it is going to be the Vala. Good AoE damage for the shrines and combos quite well with the Ariel.
The stage is set. The last map, Infernal Shrines. Jabronis up against the Russian Circus. There's still that little bit of a curse that the team to the right side has endured throughout the entire series. Can the Russian Circus break through that and take it? Are they going to play in HGC 2017? Or will the Jabronis take the third victory now that they need to make it into next year's league? We're going to jump into Infernal Shrines, our last map of this semifinal, to find out which of these two teams is going to qualify. Game number 5, everybody, the final map. Either the Jabronis or the Russian Circus are going to play in the league in 2017, and this is what it comes down to. The final map, it's Infernal Shrines. The team to the left side has won every single game in this best of 5 so far. The Jabronis are starting in blue with Mopsy on ETC, Dickazoy on Vala, Linked on Oriel, Mako on Zarya, and on the Thrall we have Kronos. To the right side, on the other hand, Hydra with a Tyrael. Power of Dream now on Arthas as the main tank. Neon again on the Gul'dan. Sir Ice Cream on Tychus. And Sefka is currently playing on Charism. It's the last map. It's the final battle between these two titans here today. Who is going to come out on top of it? Already on level 1, Transcendence being used for Charism. Malfurion was banned out. Oriel taken away, leaving Sefka with one of his comfort picks going into the Charism here. Tetcher, this is going to be close.
Is going to be close indeed, like every game except for the last one has been. We already see Gul'dan getting some great corruption stacks, really starting off this game with a bang. And with Charism going for that Transcendence, like you said, I'm going to assume that if the theme of every time he's picked Charism in the past goes in, he's going for 7-sided strike.
Yeah, that's definitely an option here. overall, they have, of course, good presence on the Shrine. We have 3 very tanky heroes for the Jabronis, but with Arthur's Tyrael, we have 2 heroes that can actually match that, especially, of course, with the heroic abilities that are going to pick up. We have a bit of a roam happening now between mid and bot, which is very traditional. Up to the top lane, on the other hand, Kronos is isolated. Oh, very nicely done. Good kill on the solo lane. Good start for the Russian Circus into the game.
Yep, picking up first blood here. Very nicely done. Power Creep took a lot of damage. Mopsio coming up here to soak XP, stun Sir Ice Cream on the way through, preventing him from mounting, and to make sure that he didn't take too much harassment as he came up.
This is just an insane setup right now. Mopsio playing with the Russian Circus up to shortly before the 3rd qualifier. Russian Circus, they had to adapt so quickly. Get a new player in, make sure that they practice a bit and find that synergy. Then, of course, you have now 2 teams that just collide on such a stage. Especially when you think about what happened to the Jabronis in the 2nd qualifier. They had problems, they had to forfeit their games, they couldn't play. So basically, this is the one chance where they can really make a stand now. And they make it all the way to the semis. And it comes down to the last map. The Russian Circus was so close already in qualifier number 2, leading in the semi-final with a 2-0 against BGenius, but the French team turned it around. Now we're going for the first objective here on our last map, Infernal Shrines.
Power Dream clearing up minion waves. Mopsio wading through, takes a bit of damage, but dodges out the root, so he's able to do a bit of work here. And like you said, the Shrine has been started, bit of an advantage going over to Russian Circus thanks to Neon, as he's able to just shred through these skeletons.
Earth Ally has been chosen, shredding through things. Maka is falling. Zarya has been a bit of a punching ball in the last game, and the trend continues as she dies right away. That should give the Shrine and the Punisher over to the red team. The Russian Circus taking a massive lead here, and there's no contestation anymore. This is looking strong for them as they're starting to push for the first objective, and therefore, of course, also the bot 4.
Punisher going over to Russian Circus, like you said. Also, just quickly on level 4 talents. Hydra taking a leaf out of Alex Brody's book here and running with that swift retribution, that extra movement speed on the smite here, which has just got so much value every time Alex has used it. See if it works out for them too.
Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. Maka gets chased again, locked down, and again Zarya is dead once more. The Punisher jumps in, it's another kill. They get Vala too. Mopsio is also low. They're making their play for the fort here. This is not starting well for the Jabronis. They are falling apart in this early game, Tetcher.
They were looking so good earlier on, but now jobbing out a little bit here, struggling to make some take anything at this start. Level 7 about to be hit here for Russian Circus, but there is still a chance. It's not over yet. Currently, even with the level deficit, we are going to see Russian Circus take this camp, but the Jabronis in position to at least defend it.
Yeah. Currently, we have a massive lead for Russian Circus this early in the game, and I want to highlight once more that we are on Infernal Shrines, a map that can snowball heavily. The reason being very simple. If those objectives spawn while you have a talent lead, you can always get a huge advantage going for the objective and just try to continue that trend. You win the objective, you get more experience, and you just keep that going. So at some point, if they're not careful, the Jabronis might find themselves on the back foot and always down a talent, where eventually they will have to take a very disadvantageous fight. The level 7 talent is already in play. It's all about level 10 though when we're talking about the second shrine on the map.
With those level 7 talents though, we can talk about a couple of them. We have the Heavenly Zeal for Karazim. Once again, more movement speed for the team. With the Swift Retribution and the Heavenly Zeal, Arthur's especially is going to be so mobile in terms of getting into the backline to get that damage done, seeing as he took the Biting Cold on his level 4. He did, however, not go with the resistance talent that he has, instead going with the Immortal Coil.
Yep, no Icebound Fortitude for him. It is the Immortal Coil right now. A level lead for them. 4 kills against 0. The fort at the bot lane also destroyed. That is massive if there's another Punisher happening to be there later on in the game. But for now, of course, it's all about the Punisher number 2. And this is spawning in the mid lane. So that's where both the teams are going to try and make their stand. Keep in mind, there's a lot of shields available on the side of the Jabronis. But we have the presence here and also the position on the shrine for the Russian Circus. They're actually setting a bit of a trap, trying to go for a kill. And they go for Kronos. If they drop Thrall here, and they do, they get another massive lead. They're placed by the Russian Circus right now. They are doing so incredibly well here in this early game. They dominate at this point.
They are showing so good right now. The grenade to keep Thrall from escaping was insane. And we are seeing, like we said, Punisher going over to Russian Circus again, while Sir Ice Cream gets even more value, pushing up with that Fallen Shaman there to put some pressure onto top lane in preparation for when a Punisher might spawn there.
Now, the one thing that I want to highlight still while we are talking about that lead with, and now also the ability is about to happen for the Russian Circus, is they had several games in the series where they were far ahead, and let's be quite honest here, they totally blew it. So this game is currently going extremely well for them. Like, it couldn't get any better, but they have to be very careful that they don't overextend, that they don't make the mistakes they did before.
The Horrify is used by ETC. It is going to be 7-sided strike, and it's going to be ETC's health hit 7 times down to 0. And we're going to see the Fork get taken out so quickly. Punisher still with half health, so they could continue to put a bit of pressure on, but instead they're going to guarantee top 4 so that the next Punisher they get can push into a tier 2 with full health.
Right now, they have to just make sure that they don't overextend. They are in the lead massively at that. 2 forts down. They are going for the top lane. Arthur's at the bottom, but do not make those greedy moves if they want to win. The Jabronis are waiting for them. They know there could be exactly these moves, and they stay way too long, in my opinion, over here. The 10 is still there. They can't disengage with the Sanctification they need to. They're cautious about it. They have Arthur's on the way to the top right now. There's nothing lost. With level 10s, that would have been an opportunity for the Jabronis to make a play, but of course the Russian Circus was very aware that that ability was not available to them yet, so they could make that play at the top lane.
There is that level 10. It is the Mosh Pit this time for Mopsio. First time it's not been the stage dive in this particular matchup. We also see Strafe, the Crystal Aegis Expulsion Zone, and no surprise, Earthquake coming in for Thrall. So now that they are on even talents, and they will be for the next level and next level here, so this is their one chance to take an even, well, mostly even fight.
We have them trapping. They're trying to trap. They're trying to set up traps for the opponents so they can slide in, drop a Mosh Pit, potentially go for that Earthquake. An Earthquake alone can be a massive game changer for these team fights. So the Russian Circus, they are far ahead, but they need to be very careful. As you just pointed out, Tetcher, it's even talents right now. If you're the Russian Circus, this is the moment when you do not want to fight. You want to get experience. You want to get 13. You want to wait for the next Punisher.
That's exactly what they're doing. We're seeing a big group in the mid lane pushing that lane in as they can see the majority of the Jabronis in the bot lane clearing that up. And now that they know that Jabronis are in the bot lane, straight to top lane by 4. That's not going to survive in time for the Jabronis to rotate up here. And we will see Jabronis reacting by taking a Khaldor camp.
Yeah, this is another fort. All forts gone. All wells, all fountains are gone as well. Level 13 talents, and that coincidence with another shrine on the map. And immediately the Jabronis are moving back. They knew that they have to wait right now. They don't want to, of course, but they say, guys, we cannot fight on this. They need to have the perfect engagement if they really want to make this happen. They have to defend first. Another Punisher, most likely going over to the Russian Circus. They're so far ahead right now. It is absolutely insane. Their coordination in this game was on point thus far.
We are going to see the Jabronis reacting, I think, appropriately. Instead of trying to contest for that objective, they're going to push a lane. It's going to be mid lane. The problem is their minions are pushed so far back, they can't even get to the fort. Yeah.
Can they maybe flank here, though? Keep in mind that this time ETC did not go into the stage dive. Tetcher pointed it out already earlier. The Mosh Pit has been chosen, so there's no opportunity to just soak experience at the top lane and stage dive in. This is also a brutal Punisher. This is an arcane Punisher. It's the strongest one to still be there. So this is something where they just open the wall. They open the small wall here, so once the Punisher jumps in, they can maybe even get a kill on the stunned out target. So this is a huge move. They go through the entire thing, and where's the lockdown? Their fear is in. Aegis is being used. Everybody jumping in. Earthquake already on the ground. There's a sacrification of Tyrell is hitting, but Marke is dying again on the Zarya. The Mosh Pit is in and stuns 2 of them out, but they still have the damage fall off, and they're going for it. They're trying to drop Mopsio, and also going for Vala. She dies. The Punisher jumps in. It's a triple kill.
The triple kill happens, they move into the bot lane and continue to take down that keep. The Punisher currently distracted though, that's going to start working on mid-keep. Will the Russian Circus continue to push in? They are! Punisher's still got some health, they're beginning to move into the core. They want to end it now, Khaldor.
They want to end it, and they're so close. Zarya's about to be back though, but the core is falling. It's falling fast. There's no heroics anymore available. Tetcher, this is it. The entire game, the entire day comes down to this. The Russian Circus, they shut the Jabronis down. It's a 3-2 victory. They qualify for HGC 2017. GG, well played, and congratulations.